Good morning, everyone. It is 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Jane Monreal. So our big story here across the Charlotte Metro is this rain. This is a live picture right now on Wilkinson, and you can see all of that heavy ponding. So cars are just dry. Although they're driving slowly, you can see how deep that standing water is. Even that rig just passing by, causing that wake of a stream there on the street.
There's
a
full-on wake.
It's a wake.
It's a wake.
Don't take your boogie boards out there.
I'm thinking, would my bug make it through?
Exactly. That's the thing. You need a truck. You need a high-profile vehicle.
Right.
Be careful with those regular sedans and cars. And see, nice and slow. Hey, van. Hey,
let's
watch
slow it down.
Come on, people.
Come on, guys.
Oh, not cool. All right. Well, that's what we're doing here. We're tracking rain across the Charlotte Metro, across North and South Carolina. It is heavy. Chris Mulcahy is working on your forecast. He will be here in the Live Impact studio any minute now, as things are definitely drenched out there. Chris, are you ready? You need a couple minutes?
Yeah, I'm in a couple minutes.
All right, yeah. He is working it. So we will get back to him in just about 2 minutes. In the meantime, this morning, our other story is a high-stakes game of Texas Hold'em. A number of Democrats leaving a special session in the Lone Star State trying to block a vote of a Republican congressional redistricting plan. Jay Gray is covering the latest for NBC News from Washington.
Members, a quorum is not present.
Texas Democrats continuing their holdout. Dozens of state lawmakers leaving the House chamber and the state, effectively blocking a vote on a Republican congressional redistricting plan that could create up to 5 new GOP seats and help the party maintain control of the U.S. House in the 2026 midterm elections.
Their attempts to disenfranchise Texans is the tool they're using is a racist, gerrymandered map. And Governor Abbott is doing this in submission to Donald Trump.
Texas Republicans pushing back.
This map was politically based, and that's totally legal, totally allowed, and totally fair.
Governor Greg Abbott threatening to expel the more than 50 absent lawmakers from office while ordering state troopers to find and arrest them.
I will immediately sign the warrants for the civil arrest of the members who have said they will not be here.
Texas may be the spark point, but clearly this showdown is just the start of a national battle for political power.
This is a war. We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
Governors in a handful of blue states, including New York, Illinois, and California, already working on potential redistricting plans to offset GOP efforts. Governor Gavin Newsom, a potential presidential candidate, posting on social media, "Buckle up, Donald Trump. California is about to get a whole lot bluer thanks to you." Blue or red, the map to the midterm elections, unclear and contentious, more than a year before voters head to the polls. Jay Gray, NBC News, Washington. Now,
All right, I seem to have cut Jay Gray off. That's okay. All right. So anyway, that is the other top story here that we're covering from Live Impact News. But let's look at this heavy flooding once again on Wilkinson. This is Sam Wilson. Near Sam Wilson. So standing water there. It is high. You got to watch your speeds in a lot of these places. And Chris Mulcahy now in the Live Impact studio, and it's one of those things too when you're driving really fast. You don't know until you hit it, until you're right in it. You know.
Yeah, and what actually concerns me, the number of incidents that we've seen so far this morning, and I think what's going to happen is because you'll still have that standing water, I think once the rain lightens up, people are going to start to go faster, and then we can have even more incidents. So it's not just a big problem that we're seeing for the near term, but what we're just looking at around Sam Wilson and Wilkinson Boulevard, that's one of the prime flooding spots. We have a lot of low-lying areas that are likely underwater right now as we're seeing here, and there's also going to be some roads, especially around Uptown and some of those poor drainage areas that are going to have this type of flooding. Now, this is referred to as nuisance flooding because it's not great, especially if you're walking on the side of the road. You're going to get a big splash here. But this is not life-threatening flooding. And the best thing that's happened for us is that we haven't had a lot of thunderstorms embedded in this, actually none at all. If we had that, we would have had this consistent rain and then some rain rates over 2 inches per hour. That would have been the big problem. But here are our rainfall totals that we've seen so far since midnight. We've had over 1.5 inches. That's still substantial, but think about it. We are over 1.5 inches over the last several hours. Sometimes you can get that 1.5 inches within a 15 to 20 minute period. That's where you really have the big time flash flooding. So we're not discounting this. I'm just letting you know this could have been a lot worse if we were a lot warmer, if we had the right setup, because what we've been seeing across the country is events like this that were thunderstorms and rain rates that are double to triple to quadruple this. So that's the only saving grace that we have here. You're still going to deal with a lot of that low-lying flooding, some areas and those creeks that typically swell and overwhelm their banks. That means that certain greenways aren't going to be walkable, some roads aren't going to be passable, And that's especially in the near term because most of the rain that we see is going to be this morning, but now everything's primed. So any additional rain that we see tonight, tomorrow, and going forward is going to lead us to a slightly better flood threat. So I just want everyone to keep that in mind. As far as the other rain totals across the area, this is insane. Wadesboro only has 1/100th of an inch because most of the rain has been in one given spot. So here's a little bit more specifics of Charlotte's rain so far. Check it out. We've had about 1/3 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, and around 1/2 an inch over the last 3 hours. So most of the rain that we've seen has been over the last 3 hours. Before that, it was very, very light rain. Now, what's going to happen in the near term is we're still going to have some passing showers or two. As you can see here, we're still going to have a little bit more of that yellow and orange that'll pass, but it is shifting a little bit further east. So areas like Gastonia and Shelby, you were seeing a lot heavier rain rates earlier. I'm not saying that you won't see them again. I just don't think you're going to see them as persistently, and then they'll work their way a little bit further off towards the east. So areas like Monroe, you're dealing with a lot more rain compared to what you had not too long ago. So let's go over there. Our WCNC roof camera is beautiful. Wow. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Put it on a brochure. Welcome to Charlotte. You can see nothing, and that just really shows the testament of the rain. Meanwhile, Boone is completely black. That's concerning. No, the camera just dropped off. But Monroe, we can see here that the visibilities are rapidly decreasing. I actually saw a little bit of a brighter overcast sky about an hour ago. That's not the case because now the light to moderate rain is going to be replaced by moderate to heavy rain, so more of those yellows and oranges on the map. Also, I want you to focus in on the left side of your screen. Rockingham's at 72 degrees. Rock Hill, Charlotte at 65 with a rain symbol. Rockingham is just sitting pretty over there. So over in Anson and Richmond County, you barely had any rain. Now, you will have some a little bit later on heading into the late morning and the afternoon, but you're staying dry, and that's why those areas are going to be much warmer. Meanwhile, we're seeing a struggle to even hit 70 degrees today, which is substantial with most of the rain again in the morning. So today isn't just have the umbrella. These are the type of scenarios that having a rain jacket and rain boots is not a ridiculous concept because you already saw what Wilkinson Boulevard looks like. Guaranteed, most parking lots are going to be overwhelmed that you're going to have a wet shoe. Who likes a wet shoe? Nobody.
The worst.
A wet sock on the shoe. Imagine starting your day, 8-hour shift with a wet shoe.
Ugh.
Yeah. Don't be a wet shoe Sam. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those type of days. Yeah. WSS. Nobody wants that. And today actually is going to be more October-like. So not only is it just a wet day, it's also a colder rain. This would be like an October rain, 71 degrees. And honestly, this might be an overestimation. I had 71 just factoring in that, hey, the rain's going to stop late afternoon and we'll get back into the lower 70s. There's a shot that Charlotte's high today is 69 degrees, which would, by the way, be astronomically cool for this day in climatology and this August in general, which, believe it or not, this is actually the coldest high temperature we've had in August since 2014. So it was a week ago that we were talking about, it's been over a decade since we've hit 100 degrees 3 days in a row. No, now I'm saying over a decade since we've been this cold in August. Mother Nature, get it together. What's going on here? So we've had two opposites from really unseasonably cool to unseasonably hot. Now, our Futurecast is also showing that I think the worst of the rain is really going to be over the next 3 hours or so. That pushes off towards the east, and then you notice by about 4 o'clock, we're seeing a lot less rain coverage. And then we might have a chance for redeveloping showers and thunderstorms overnight tonight. These are the ones I would be concerned about, these slow movers that might have some heavier rates. So we have a moderate chance for excessive rainfall today, and then a low chance tomorrow. That also goes through the overnight. So I just want everyone to be advised there is going to be another chance for some area flood advisories and some flash flood warnings overnight tonight as well. But again, we're lucky that it has really been more over time compared to really the heaviest that it potentially could be. This will lead to more light rain tomorrow. It'll be heavy at times, and then I think we start to dissipate things by the afternoon. So our highest rain chances are today, and then again later on tonight. Rain is still likely, especially for the first half of your Wednesday, and then things rapidly improve. So we're going to see those temperatures start to rebound back to the upper 70s, lower to the mid 80s, and then that's a pretty typical looking 7-day forecast for September. Oh, wait, it's August. So even though today's feels like October, we're only going to return to more September-like highs. We really don't get back to the usual August, which is upper 80s to that 90-degree point, until like day 9, 10 of the forecast. So that really shows about where we are, what's happening. And this 7-day forecast also has a big question mark. So I'm going to go through the futurecast one more time to show you the back end. Once you get to about your Thursday here, let me move forward. Oh, that's one. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So once you get to about here, Thursday, we're starting to see some breaks in the action. We don't really have as much activity. But what I'm really monitoring is what happens after this. So what potentially could happen is we have a developing low-pressure system off the coastal areas of North Carolina and South Carolina. Sorry, I'm stalling, trying to get this to come up. 10 to 40% chance for development now. So now that the first column, the next 2 days, is showing that this formation is going to happen, it's going to pique our interest a little bit more. And the reason why I show you this is that our 7-day forecast pretty much had 20% chance for rain for the back end. Now, it does look like things are mainly going to align along the coast. So those people that are maybe having a beach weekend might not be the best beach weekend. Those who might be starting a beach vacation might not be the best start to it. And I'm going to raise my hand over here. But that's the penalty of doing stuff in August. Now, it's not a guarantee that this isn't going to linger. This is going to sit like what we just had. But you do have an active possibility of a system developing right there. Meanwhile, the latter part, I think about 7 days out, we could also have a storm that develops out in the southern to mid-Atlantic, and especially 7 to 10, it could strengthen into another fish storm, so likely not really affecting land. But that one that's a little bit closer to us is one that is definitely worth monitoring. With the amount of rain that we've seen today and will see tonight, even if it's just minor flooding today, anything additional that comes the following days could be an issue. Sometimes it takes flooding to make more flooding. This is that type of scenario. So I just want everyone to kind of be on guard that, especially this time of year, a tropical system developing, even if we have a general idea of it happen, your forecast can change drastically. So just keep that in the back of your head if you have any plans on the back end of the 7-day.
All right. Okay. Any plans? Are you going to cancel your beach
vacation?
Oh, heck
no. We're there for
Myrtle, right?
Yeah, we're there for a week.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
good
and
for you.
Yeah, no, and I think honestly, if you do have any beach plans by Sunday, it should be a little bit better, starting to clear out. But hey, there's a lot that comes up, and the best thing is if there's a wet beach day, like you said, there's so many other things you can do.
So many
yeah,
things
that's
to do
true.
in Myrtle.
Looks like there was a CMPD unit now on scene there on Wilkinson.
I bet it's just trying to slow people down.
There
right?
you go, exactly, because everyone is slowing down.
You see blue lights, you slow down.
Right. No doubt, no doubt. I did run into Sarah in the restroom who said that she had a wet shoe.
Oh.
Because she forgot she didn't realize how bad the parking lot is.
It does get
with
bad.
all that
It
standing
does.
water. I said, you know what? I do have rain boots, but they're packed. So I know this parking lot. Mm-hmm. And I walked in my flip-flops.
Flippity flops.
Yeah,
My
very good.
flip-flops as a second,
That's smart.
as an alternative, and brought my dry shoes. So change the shoes. Once
So
I got
actually,
in.
I said wet shoe Sam. We can use wet shoe Sarah too.
Wet shoe
Wet shoe
Sarah.
Yeah, to get both sides. Yeah,
Wet
so
shoes
Gonna be-
Sean.
and it actually is the case. Yeah, wet shoe Sean. You pick your S name.
All right, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Chris, we have a lot of rain, but yeah, like you said, just spread over time, and no thunderstorms at this point.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it's going to continue to rain. And I'm not saying you're not having flooding, but this is the difference between all the other flooding events that we've talked about. It's not good. There's going to be roads underwater. There will be roads closed. We already have police officers out and about. Mm-hmm. But this could be a whole lot worse. And there's still a chance that you are going to see this start to amplify a little bit more. But if you're talking about hours of rain this time of year, oddly enough, this is actually the best case scenario for this type of setup.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very good.
Still not good, but
Still, yeah.
But better than it could be.
better than it could be, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
As we bring it back here at 9:16 on Tuesday morning, not the store, but the actual day of the week, you're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Thanks for downloading the app and spreading the word here for your Roku, Fire, Apple TVs, because we bring you so much kinds of content from not only the local level, obviously the weather is our big story here around the Charlotte Metro, but on a state level as well as a national level. And with that, California governor, who made who toured South Carolina last month. He and Attorney General Rob Bonta delivering an update yesterday, talking about the state's ongoing litigation against the Trump administration. So for more of this press conference that he held in a previously recorded presser from yesterday, let's get you caught up here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. Rob Bonta, California Attorney General. I first want to start by welcoming our incredible governor. Wonderful to have him at the California Department of Justice, as always, and want to thank him for his courage, his conviction, his inimitable leadership. It's always a pleasure to stand with the governor, literally, and also in our work here, and that's what we're here to talk about. We're standing together in our shared mission to protect and defend California and Californians, and the report my office is putting out today is proof of that mission in action, and this is the report as required by the legislation to report back to the legislature on how we're using the special session funding. It sets forth how we've used the $5 million so far and goes through the different cases and other efforts and actions that we've taken to date. And as I like to say, as others say as well, we are bringing the receipts. And so let me talk about what we've accomplished. Since President Trump took office on January 20th, the federal administration has led a sweeping campaign to illegally withhold funding and services, to dismantle the federal government, and to strip Californians of their constitutional rights. In return, California DOJ has had to file 37 lawsuits against the federal administration in just 28 weeks, more than one lawsuit per week. We've successfully secured early relief in 17 of 19 cases where we've asked for it and where the court has ruled. So out of 19 times where we've gone to court and asked for a temporary restraining order or a preliminary injunction, 17 of those times we've gotten it. Today, we have 13 court orders blocking President Trump's illegal actions. On top of that, there have been other instances where the administration has conceded and reversed course outside of a court ruling, without a court ruling to document and affirm that fact. So there's other metrics for victory as well. One example of that is just recently, when days after we filed a lawsuit, the Department of Education restored funding it had illegally frozen and that we had made a subject of our lawsuit. We've also brought more than 40 amicus briefs, filed more than 40 amicus briefs in support of other related cases that are aligned with our mission and our work. In just the first 6 months, California DOJ's actions have restored, protected, and defended over $168 billion in federal funding that our state, that our communities, that our families rely on. So $5 million of special session money to fund the work, to support attorneys and paralegals in my office, $168 billion protected. That means that for every $1 we've been given by the legislature and the governor from special session funding to do this work, and we are very grateful for that funding, we've returned $33,600 for the state. $1 for $33,600 in return. And just to put it in perspective, if you told a Wall Street investor they'd get a $33,000 return on every $1 invested, they would trip over themselves to get in on that deal. In its first week, the Trump administration tried to freeze $3 trillion with a T dollars in nationwide funding. Less than 24 hours later, we were in court to freeze him in his tracks, saving $168 billion for California alone, 1/3 of our state's annual budget. When the administration's initial attempt at a wide net cut failed, it changed course and it flooded the zone with near constant attempts to cut off funding anywhere and everywhere they saw an opening. Like a dangerous and unruly game of whack-a-mole. They kept coming for the same funding, to cut it off, to impound it. We've been ready to strike back at every turn, securing early court wins to protect a total of $11 billion from the onslaught of successive attacks, some of which were repeated attempts to claw back the same funding sources we'd already protected from in our first effort in week 1. So we protected it once in week 1. They came after it again. We defended it, that funding again. Through those lawsuits, we saved approximately $7 billion in grants to upkeep the roads, railways, and airways and bridges that connect our communities, that ensure our people can safely get to work, get to school, and return home at the end of the day. We saved $939 million for California schools just weeks before classes started again. Funds for before, after, and summer learning programs, teacher preparation programs, and to support students learning English. We saved $972 million in critical public health funding for the state, funding that ensures access to immunizations, that identifies, tracks, and addresses infectious diseases, and that modernizes our public health system. And we saved more than $300 million for electric vehicle infrastructure to ensure our state is ready and able to move into a future driven by electric vehicles. Those are just some of the examples of the savings that we've had, the successes that we've secured. California isn't even asking for its fair share of federal funding. After all, we are the biggest donor state in the country, paying more federal taxes than we get back in return. What we're demanding is that we get the funding that's already been legally approved and appropriated to our state. Funding that comes from our tax dollars to support our schools, healthcare, transportation, and much more. The money is critical, and it touches every corner of California. But our work goes far beyond dollars and cents. It's also about stopping the federal administration from senselessly tearing down the federal government and the services Americans count on it to provide, paid for by our tax dollars. Is our government perfect? No, no institution is. But lighting it on fire and walking away is not the answer. That only stands to hurt our people and set our nation back for generations to come. We blocked the administration's attack on the Department of Health and Human Services because we need it to continue protecting the health and safety of millions of Americans, to combat infectious diseases, reduce smoking-related deaths, and ensure all families have access to early childhood programs. We blocked its attempt to dismantle AmeriCorps, so volunteers can continue to answer the call to serve their country and their fellow American by tutoring students, serving veterans and older adults, fighting the opioid epidemic, and rebuilding our communities in the wake of disaster. We're also working to defend our constitutional rights, hard-fought rights the president cannot rewrite with the stroke of a pen, though he's tried. We are fighting for birthright citizenship and the more than 24,000 babies born in California each year who are rightfully U.S. citizens. So far, we've won multiple court orders blocking implementation of the executive order while our case proceeds. And we're working to safeguard Californians' personal and private data from government misuse, specifically from protecting it from DOJ and from private citizen billionaire Elon Musk, not elected to anything, by the way. We blocked the poorly named Department of Government Efficiency from accessing your financial data, sued the administration for illegally sharing Medicaid data with ICE, and challenged demands that we turn over the sensitive and personal data of SNAP recipients. When you add it all up, you see the totality of what's at stake. The California dream. The idea that every Californian, no matter how they look, where they live, or how much money they have, can send their kid to school, go to the doctor when they're sick, and put food on the table and a roof over their heads. Can work hard, support their families, and
at 9:25, we'll get back to that press conference previously recorded out of California with their governor, Gavin Newsom. We want to take this time now to talk about an exciting new festival coming to South Carolina this fall. It's called the Field and Stream Music Fest. It promises to be really unlike anything we've seen before, combining country music's biggest stars and outdoor adventure. We're talking about 3,000 acres in Winsboro. That's just outside of Columbia. So let's go ahead and welcome in Bob Durkin. He is the co-founder of Southern Entertainment to tell us more about this unique event. Good morning, Bob. Thanks for coming in here live so early in the morning on a Tuesday.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Bob, tell us your vision for this festival. What inspired you to create this very unique sounding event?
So, all the events that we do revolve around music, but a couple of years ago, Eric Church and Morgan Wallen purchased the Field and Stream brand. If you're familiar with it, it's an iconic brand, celebrates outdoor, celebrates everything that's great about family and just, being together. So they came to us and said they wanted to put a festival themed around everything that Field and Stream represents, and we thought it was just a fantastic idea. Eric Church's roots in North Carolina make it a natural fit. Plus, all the things that Field and Stream represent outdoors, we can have a celebration of amazing music, plus all those things outdoors. So people go to a festival, a lot of them are at the beach, you celebrate the beach, you do those things, plus music. This is going to be everything outdoors, as well as the greatest country music, there is out there.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like it's different from any other kind of country music festival. So what are some of the activities, on this property?
So, like I said, we're right in between Charlotte and Columbia, right off 77. So people can camp, they can take their RVs, they can car camp, or you can get a hotel close by or just come in for the day. But when you get there, there's going to be several different villages. There'll be a hunting village, a fishing village, and we have a tailgate village. So the fishing village is going to be amazing, all the newest things in lures, bass fishing, and we have Pure Fishing coming. They're bringing this really cool 18-wheeler that has a fish tank in the back, and they'll show you how to fish. That's just one activity that's going to set ourselves apart, I think, than any other festival and really celebrate the outdoors. And then in the hunting village, you'll have Onyx, Silence Essential, all these great brands. So you'll be able to try these products, do some really cool stuff, see some activations, and then again, see the greatest country music there is, out there. Eric Church, Miranda Lambert, Leonard Skinner, Riley Green, Bailey Zimmerman, ZZ Top, and the list goes on. So we're really excited about being able to bring amazing country music along with all these outdoor activities and cool activations.
How were you able to land such major acts for this festival?
Well, Eric Church being involved really helped, but I think when the country music world heard about what was going on, that they thought it was a great idea. And obviously, the outdoor world, the Carolinas have so many great things outdoors, so the people there who love the outdoors also love country music. So it was a perfect fit. So the country music world definitely is excited about it and about where it can go. And hopefully, we'll have some of the fans out there. You might have a chance to catch a fish with Miranda Lambert.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool, wouldn't it? So how are you going to structure, over 40 artists performing over 3 days? How do you structure all of the entertainment?
So, the big names are what get people excited, and obviously seeing Eric Church under the stars in the fall is just going to be, in the woods is really going to be, I think, a magical thing. But when you say 40 artists, the thing that we get excited about is that we create this platform with huge stars. But then earlier in the day, there's so much great music out there with streaming and with online. People have access to find it, but then also the artists have a way to get their new fans and expose themselves. We try to do the same thing at the festival. So early on, I would check the lineup, and some of these new artists you'll be able to discover at the festival. And I think what happens when people see an artist for the first time, they get bigger, you really feel a connection to it. So with some of these young artists, you really have a chance to see them in a small setting, create a connection, and then watch and follow their careers and say, I was there at the beginning.
That's cool. So cool. So, we're talking about young artists. And so this is a good segue to talk about some of these hometown stars.
Yes.
What is this about?
So one of the things we love to do is foster the music. We have this huge platform with these big stars. And these young artists, it takes a lot to get a break, right? There's so many people trying to do music. And so if we can put them in front of large crowds and give them a break, we'd love to give them that chance. So what we're going to do is have this hometown competition where all these regional local bands around the Carolinas can compete. You can nominate them online, and then we'll pick several winners, and they'll be able to come and perform at the festival. So you're talking about a small band, put it in the garage, has a chance to come out there, win, and you can put on your resume that you opened for Eric Church or Leonard Skinner or Riley Green. So we love that platform and this event that we can create, because it really helps out that local musician who's struggling and give them a chance to expose himself to great country fans.
That's amazing. And then the economic impact to the area, and really, again, like you said, between Charlotte and Columbia, it's got to have a ripple effect for the area.
Yeah, and there is no game that weekend, so that's one of the big things with the
very
University
nice.
of Columbia,
That is good.
University of South Carolina. We have some special things going on, and that's where we'll have the tailgate area. I mean, you're in the South. It's Saturday, so we're going to be watching college football.
Yeah, no doubt.
So that's going to be great. We'll have these big screens. We'll have all the games on. So whoever your team is, if you come to the festival, not only be able to continue to follow that team and watch the game, you'll watch it in a really cool setting.
All right, very good. So we talked about hometown stars. We talked about the villages. We have the location, and you chose that location specifically for the size of it and for the outdoor activities that you can kind of map
Exactly.
these things out.
And the proximity to Charlotte and Columbia. Carolina Adventure World is normally there. It's 100 miles of trails for side-by-sides and dirt bikes, that kind of thing. So it has the infrastructure. It's right off 77, easy to get to. Like I said, there's still camping available. You can get an easy hotel close by with a shuttle. You can Uber, you can Lyft. There's a million different ways to get there. One-day tickets are available now. 3-day tickets are available, and hopefully we'll get to see you out there at Field and Stream Music Festival.
All right. Obviously, a major undertaking with this festival, one of a kind. It's the first year for it. What are your hopes of how this is going to grow in future years?
Yeah, I think, the fact that it's in such a different and unique spot, I think is going to really get people excited that are outdoors. But we definitely plan on growing this and increasing the number of activations, increasing the villages, increasing the excursions and things that people can do. Hopefully down the road people might be able to go on a deer hunt during the day and then come out back to the festival, or they can go and ride the side-by-sides, those kind of things. So there's so many outdoor activities in that area of South Carolina. The ecotourism is amazing. Lake Watery's right there. So not only what we have available, there's a million other activities that are outdoor. So I think that's going to increase as the years go by, and just having some of the greatest country music come right at our doorstep. And if you're Columbia, it's closer than driving to downtown if you live in Blythewood, or if you live in Charlotte, it's as easy as getting to PNC. So we implore everyone, come on out and have a great time.
All right. It is this fall. What do people need to know about getting tickets and planning their weekend?
October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. If you're camping, you can move in on Thursday. fieldandstreammusicfest.com. You can buy your tickets. You can buy your parking. And follow us on social media. We'd love to hear from you, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody out there in a couple months.
All right, Bob, I'm sure we're going to see you between now and then as well as we get closer. Very exciting time, and sounds like an amazing combination of music and outdoor activities and really just showcasing the Carolinas.
Yeah, we're excited, so thank you for having us.
Awesome. All right. So it is the Field and Stream Music Fest, and we will be happy to keep on talking about it until the fall. One of those great fall activities. Nothing like it for the Carolinas, right?
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy that. Thank you so much, Bob, for coming in here to the Live Impact Studio on WCNC Plus. Here at 9:35, we're going to get you back to that press conference out of California, previously recorded here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
So far, we've won multiple court orders blocking implementation of the executive order while our case proceeds. And we're working to safeguard Californians' personal and private data from government misuse, specifically from protecting it from DOJ and from private citizen billionaire Elon Musk, not elected to anything, by the way. We blocked the poorly named Department of Government Efficiency from accessing your financial data, sued the administration for illegally sharing Medicaid data with ICE, and challenged demands that we turn over the sensitive and personal data of SNAP recipients. When you add it all up, you see the totality of what's at stake. The California dream. The idea that every Californian, no matter how they look, where they live, or how much money they have, can send their kid to school, go to the doctor when they're sick, and put food on the table and a roof over their heads, can work hard, support their families, and give back to their communities, can rely on their federal and state government to have their back. I want to be very clear. I don't want to have to file these lawsuits. I'd much rather work with the federal government to serve, protect, and uplift our people and our state. In fact, the moment the Trump administration stops breaking the law and violating the Constitution, we'll stop suing. It's simple. Until then, we have no choice but to take legal action. No one is above the law. not even the President of the United States. When you break the law, you need to be held accountable, plain and simple. The irony is the President has an enormous amount of lawful power at his fingertips. There's so much he can actually do legally. If you just stick to that, we wouldn't have a case against him. Instead, President Trump and his allies continue to abuse their power, break the law, violate the Constitution, and harm our people. Be it threats to our schools, research for our future, medical care for our sick, or infrastructure that keeps our communities working. There's too much at stake to sit idly by and follow and allow the President to continue unchecked. So you've got my word. Every time the President or his allies break the law, my incredible team of public servants at the California DOJ and I will be here to take them in court, just like we have 37 times already. As Attorney General, it's my job and my honor to protect California's people, resources, and values. I've got your back. I've got California's back. I'll protect your rights, your freedoms, your funding, and our values. And fortunately, I don't stand alone. I have a great team at the California DOJ, and I'm grateful to be able to stand with our great governor and our colleagues in the legislature. We're one team. The federal government might be content to forego its duty to serve the people, but the state of California never will. And now it's my great pleasure to welcome up my partner in this incredible work, Governor Gavin Newsom.
Thank you. Thank you to the Attorney General. Thank you for the comprehensive overview, and thank you for putting together this report in a transparent way. You may recall this report came out of a legislative process that began during the transition of the Trump administration. We called a special session. We did so in the spirit that defines, I think, the closing comments of the Attorney General, with an open hand, not a closed fist, with the intention not to litigate, with the intention not to initiate, but with the intention to defend, to stand tall, to hold the line in terms of our values, the things we hold dear, to advance the rule of law and do so in a fair way. We were mindful that past is prologue, that we were involved in over 122, arguably 123 lawsuits in the Trump administration, 1.0, and inevitably we would be faced with many similar lawsuits and efforts in the second administration, though I think none of us imagined in the process of putting together a special session that just in 7 or so months, 37 lawsuits would be filed. None of us are surprised that so many of them have been successful. Nothing about what Trump is doing should come as a surprise, save the scope, the scale, the shock and awe, as it's been described, of the totality of his efforts. Thankfully, we have an outstanding leader in our Attorney General, someone didn't need to be convinced to fortify, to provide a bridge. That was the idea of the special session. After all, a bridge to the budget, to make sure he had the resources so that he can move forward quickly, whether it was internal efforts or to the extent he needed to find counsel outside, he would have the luxury, he would have the resources to do so. With the support of the legislature, we not only advanced the $25 million in session, with the support of the legislature just a few weeks ago, we also were able to significantly increase the ongoing support for our litigation posture here at the DOJ. I'm grateful to the Senate and the Assembly for supporting new positions and supporting additional resources that will supplement the resources that were set aside, those one-time $5 million in the special session. It was never the intention to quote-unquote Trump-proof, your words, not mine, during the session. But undoubtedly, those resources have come to bear great fruit. And I'm grateful again to your team's leadership, to your stewardship, to the partnerships that you've formed with other states. I think closing is a critical point. It's the old African proverb, you want to go fast, you can go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And the partnerships that have been formed with other attorney generals all across this country have been formidable. And have had tremendous impact in terms of the success with these preliminary injunctions, success so far in this process. But none of us are naive about what's next, and none of us are naive about the imperative of making sure that we're resourced and we have a resourceful mindset as we move forward. Tremendous return on investment. But again, this is just 7 months into a new administration, and there's no question in my mind that the most vexing challenges are in front of us, not behind us. So I'm here just to support and amplify the work that was done in putting together this report, but also extend gratitude not just to the Attorney General, but again to the legislature for approving this appropriation, for supporting that special session, and setting up this strategy, first of its type in the country. We took this next administration, the new Trump administration, seriously, and thankfully we did. And I'm very, very proud of you and your team, and grateful for the opportunity just to highlight and reinforce the success that's laid out today in this report. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Newsom. Appreciate the partnership again, the kind words, the ability to talk about in a transparent way what we've accomplished so far, and with clear eyes and a sober outlook, ready for whatever happens next. We will continue to do what we've already done. And I think what we've accomplished is proof positive of what we hope we can continue to accomplish on behalf of California, our people, our values, and our future. So with that, happy to answer any questions that you might have.
For both of you, Ashley Zavala, I agree. Just on redistricting, which I know is separate from a lot of this, but still kind of philosophically the same. Republican Representative Kevin Kiley today came out with a proposal that he plans to introduce tomorrow that would prohibit states like Texas and California from redistricting mid-decade. Is that something that the two of you would support?
Let me turn it over to the governor, who's been leading on this issue.
Well, I've long supported independent redistricting. I was mayor of San Francisco supporting the efforts at the state level. Very proud of Governor Schwarzenegger's leadership. Proud of those that supported that effort. I was one of the few elected Democrats at the time that publicly stated my support for the independent redistricting. So absolutely, I support a national framework. In fact, the work we're advancing with the legislature does just that. It reinforces the framework, the policy, through a constitutional framework to advance as policy support for national independent redistricting commission. That's absolutely the goal. I'm appreciative that this member of Congress is waking up to the realities of what has occurred in Texas. I haven't heard much from him as it relates to the condemnation of their efforts, but I'm grateful that he recognizes the importance of a national framework.
Sorry, just to be clear, his legislation is a mid-decade redraw. Is that something that you'd be okay with? That way you wouldn't...
Well, this whole thing is in response to. And in many ways, it's the spirit, and I appreciate your question, and I'll build off it. It's the spirit of the special session, this special session, as it relates to putting ourselves in a position to respond to the assault on the rule of law and our democratic principles, principles of federalism, 10th Amendment, that so often are brought to bear in light with the litigation that we've advanced. The proposal that we're advancing with the legislature has a trigger. Only if they move forward to dismantling the protocols that are well established would the state of California move forward in kind, fighting, yes, fire with fire. So in that light, I believe there's consistency.
Hi, Governor. Monica Madden, ABC 7 News. Last night, California state Democrats and congressional Democrats had a meeting to discuss this ongoing redistricting plan, and we're hearing that California Democrats have a draft, or almost are done with the draft of these maps. Have you been in conversations with leadership about this? Have you seen the maps? And of course, this would end up going through the legislature.
I haven't seen the maps, but we helped initiate those conversations. My team were part of those conversations last night. They've been an ongoing series of conversations that continued into the evening, continued this morning, and will continue until we land on a process. That process has to have the concurrence, the support of 2/3 of the legislature. The maps, we believe, should be transparent. They should be provided in a transparent way to the public. And as a consequence, those maps are being processed and will be brought to light. I have not had the opportunity, nor am I getting into the details of what those maps look like. I'll allow more objective minds to do just that. But the ultimate determination will be by the people of the state of California. We will offer them the opportunity to make judgment for themselves. Again, only if Texas moves forward. We would maintain the framework of the Independent Redistricting Commission that I support, that I believe in. We would just allow for this mid-census redistricting to occur just for congressional maps in 26, 28, and 30. It would also state, as I said a moment ago, and I'll reinforce, that we believe it should be a national model, independent national redistricting, and it would revert back to its original form. But it's done in response to the existential realities that we're now facing. Things have changed. Facts have changed. So we must change. I think it's in the spirit of, Lincoln's infamous second inaugural. We have to disenthrall ourselves so we can save this country. We've got to think anew. We've got to act anew. Things have changed. We're reacting to that change. They've triggered this response, and we're not going to roll over. And we're going to fight fire with fire. But we're going to do so not just punching with the weight of the fourth largest economy, the most populous state in our union, the size of 21 state populations combined, but we also will punch above our weight in terms of the impact of what we're doing. And I think that should be absorbed by those in the Texas delegation. Whatever they are doing will be neutered here in the state of California. And they will pay that price. And we believe public opinion is with our approach. And I appreciate the growing recognition in other states of other governors of like mind and the people of this country recognizing what's at stake. These folks don't play by the rules. If they can't win playing the game with the existing set of rules, they'll change the rules. That's what Donald Trump has done. He's dialing for seats. Familiar because he dialed for votes in the last election. Here's someone who tried to break this country, tried to light democracy on fire on January 6th. He recognizes he's going to lose in the midterms, and we have the opportunity to de facto end the Trump presidency in less than 18 months. That's what's at stake, and that's why we're putting a stake in the ground. We're not drawing lines to draw lines. We're holding the line on democracy, on the rule of law, co-equal branches of government, popular sovereignty. That's what this is about.
Did you invite Texas Democrats who are breaking quorum to come to California?
They were told we would support them in any way, and I was with them, as you know, last week at the governor's mansion.
Governor, separately from what you're doing here in California, are you planning on making any investments in Texas to stop the maps?
Well, we're going to do what we can to resource and support them, but our focus is here on California.
Should Californians be prepared to go to the polls in November for a special election?
It's cause and effect. It's triggered on the basis of what occurs or doesn't occur in Texas. I hope they do the right thing. And if they do the right thing, then there'll be no cause for us to have to move forward. But again, we're working with the legislature on a trigger that if they do move forward, California will not sit by idly and watch this democracy waste away. We'll fight fire with fire, we'll assert ourselves, and we'll punch above our weight, and it will have profound impacts on the national outcome, not just here in the state of California. I appreciate it's already led to some members of our delegation now calling for independent redistricting. That's an encouraging sign. So already, perhaps people are waking up to the reality of California entering into this conversation. We're not a small state. Again, we punch above our weight. It will have profound national implications if we move forward. And I'm confident if we move forward, the people of this great state will support this effort.
If California moves forward with a special election for this mid-decade redistricting effort, can you talk about how realistic it is with such a tight timeline? If you're hoping to put this on the ballot in November, on November 4th, there's have to be 45 days that needed for mail-out ballots and things like that. So how confident are you in getting this done with such a tight timeline?
Very, and we'll get it done. And the goal is to get it on the November 4th ballot, where other municipal elections are already occurring.
But Governor, I mean, you basically have to act by the end of this month to meet those timelines. What if Texas hasn't actually done anything by then? I mean, are you just going to move ahead with it anyway as a backup plan?
I'll repeat what I said earlier because it's important, and I appreciate the opportunity to clarify it on the basis of your question. We have trigger component of this effort, so it only goes in effect if it's triggered by action that occurs in Texas.
To be clear, the ballot language says this would not go into effect if Texas's maps or any other state. Is that?
I want to make something clear. The ballot language says nothing at the moment. The ballot language is being worked on at the moment in a process that began a few weeks ago. That process, and I appreciate you highlighting last night, there were a series of additional meetings, and they continue today, and they'll continue over the course of the next few weeks. We're very mindful of the calendar, mindful of what is required. The legislative leaders are deeply mindful of that as well, working with the respective caucuses. The language is being worked on. It's being negotiated. It's being debated within the caucus, and it will be made available in very transparent terms to the people of the state of California that will ultimately make the determination for themselves, what they want for themselves. And that, I think, is what distinguishes our efforts from the efforts in states like Texas.
Will we see that language before the legislature returns into?
We have a process that's well established here in the state to engage the legislature in a deliberative process to advance legislation, and we'll maintain the core tenets of that process in an open and transparent way. You know, it's well established in this state that we have rules that distinguish us from other states, including the 72-hour rule for full transparency, and so we'll make things available as quickly as we can on the basis of the consensus that we're drafting.
But on a type,
some of the supermajority though has indicated they're not convinced that this is a good idea yet. Are you confident you're going to be able to get them on board with
Deeply confident.
but on such a tight timeline, I mean, you promised California voters these maps wouldn't be drawn in a back room. They'd be available for people to see. But how can you guarantee that and the ballot language isn't done behind closed doors, which, as we've acknowledged and we've reported, there's already been at least 1, 2, 3 closed-door meetings so far on this. I mean, Texas's process was done behind closed doors, and then people got to see those maps within days, and there was public outrage. There was a ton of public comment. I mean, how can you guarantee the process here won't be exactly the same as it was in that state?
One has nothing to do with the other. Forgive me. The ultimate test of transparency is what's in the voting pamphlet. The ultimate test of transparency is what voters will decide on. Full light of day, completely public. They will have the opportunity to review those maps. They'll have ample opportunity to do just that, and it will be in their ballot box, and they'll make that determination. That is in stark contrast to the example that you just advanced.
Do you think it will erode the confidence, though, in the independent redistricting office? Like, coming back to that, if we're just going to go around it every time, how can we think of it as an independent one that we've given that power, so to speak?
Well, we believe in the core principles. Things have changed. I mean, again, the word disenthrall is the operative word here. You know, when things change, facts change, you've got to change. This is serious stuff. I mean, I could just remind you just some tactical points. I mean, you want more warrantless arrests? of people that look more like the Attorney General than me? You want to continue to sit back as we have aid to people that are desperate and in need to get their lives back on track because of one of the most significant disasters, natural disasters in American history that happened in Southern California? You want that aid conditioned on a political whim, someone in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? I go down the list. All of that is on the line here. It's not a gross exaggeration, not an exaggeration at all. Remember, the origin story here is Donald Trump made a phone call so familiar. Just out in the open, corruption at a whole nother level. Do not allow this to be normalized. Told Greg Abbott, I need you to find me, in this case, 5 representatives. These guys aren't screwing around. So I'm not here to, it's not an intellectual exercise. I'm not here to be a member of some think tank. We're here as pragmatists, practitioners. And I've got kids. I care deeply about the 250th anniversary of this great country that we'll celebrate next year. It's all at risk. This guy's not screwing around, and nor are we.
Governor, you said you haven't seen any maps yet. So who is drawing those maps, and what is the target number of Democratic seats that you're asking for on that map?
I'm not asking specifically for anything except a process to unfold with congressional legislation, the congressional delegation, and members of the California State Assembly and State Senate. And that's a process that they're engaging in, and it's a process that's very familiar. Redistricting is very familiar to all of us. And these are maps that I'm told are relatively familiar as well. I mean, the independent redistricting puts out maps all the time. Have seen many maps over the years, and some are approved, some are not. And those process is unfolding as we speak, but it is not a process that I, as governor of the state of California, am advancing in any detail. It is a process that's happening with the delegations. It's a process that will be made transparent, fully transparent, and the ultimate determination of this approach will be made by the people of the state, and we hope that occurs with the special election that will coincide with municipal elections, many, not all. LA City is one, others as early as November 4th.
Do you have a target number of Democratic
As I
pickup
said,
now?
we will punch above our weight, and we will more than address the concerns that have been expressed by actions in other states.
Can I ask one question about this actual report?
Sure.
Unbelievable.
I think you're strawberry with the
I would like to have him carry as you asked.
A question about this report?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's actually
please.
A two-part, one's from my colleague. First of all, for both of you, is there one win that has been especially meaningful to you in the court that represents the California values? And second, and in the weeds financial question, $25 million is hard for people to understand. Is it being spent on outside counsel? You've drawn down $5 million, $10 million being drawn down. How do you explain where it's going to the general public?
Sure, thanks. The first 2 cases, they were first in time, and they kind of represent the body of 37 cases in some ways. They cover 2 main buckets that the cases can be put in broadly. The first case was the attempt to, with the stroke of the pen, amend the Constitution and end birthright citizenship. That was our first case. And that one is very meaningful. We've had other cases attacking constitutional rights like voting rights, and we got an injunction in that case as well. The idea that you can timely cast a ballot and it should still be counted. Not a lot to ask for in this amazing country, but the president has attacked that. So protecting rights and freedoms, core constitutional rights like the right to vote, the right from which all other rights flow, and birthright citizenship right there in the 14th Amendment, the Citizenship Clause. That was case 1. That one's super meaningful, remains super meaningful. The second one represents the attacks on congressionally appropriated funding. It was the OMB memo case, Office of Management and Budget, $3 trillion at risk, nationwide, $168 billion for the state of California. We were able to block that, stop that, make sure that that $168 billion continued to flow, things that it funded housing and health care and food and child care and college and emergency and disaster relief and response. So very important. I think those cases, they were the first 2 in time, but they remain sort of the most important in terms of what they represent, the amount at issue. Nothing has been higher in terms of what was at stake in terms of financially than the $168 billion in the OMB case. And this core constitutional right being attacked by the president on day one, the day he raised his hand and took the oath to follow the laws and the Constitution, he breaks it later that day and tries to amend the Constitution in a way that's unlawful. I think those two cases remain really important and defining as we continue the work. $25 million is a lot of money. We're grateful to have it. $168 billion is a lot more money than $25 million. We've spent $5 million. What do we spend it on? We spend it on attorneys and paralegals, the people who bring the cases, who file the complaint, who go to court, who argue the motions, who secure the restraining order, who secure the preliminary injunction, who write the briefs, who respond to the court, who protect the trial court victory at the appellate level. So it's mostly all attorneys with some paralegals, all inside. All inside. We have not spent any money on outside counsel in our litigation. We hope to internalize it. We think we have an incredible team. I think the success and the metrics that we've laid out today are proof positive of that. So we want to continue to support the great men and women at the California Department of Justice who do this work, our attorneys and our paralegals and their support teams.
The National Guard lawsuit is expected to go to trial in Judge Breyer's court next week. Are you anticipating the Trump administration to try and get this lawsuit completely tossed now that they have been withdrawing slowly but surely the number of members on the ground in Southern California?
We are very aware of that potential strategy. They sort of signaled it to us earlier, and their sort of slow withdrawal of Marines and National Guards people suggests that they might be coming to an end. They're not there yet. I mean, this is, by the way, far too slow and not soon enough. They should never have had people there. The Marines and the National Guards people arrived to quiet streets in LA the day they arrived, and the president has been incredibly, in my view, just.
And they're just wrapping up that recorded press conference from California Governor Gavin Newsom, as well as the Attorney General for the Golden State. Right after 10 o'clock this morning, you're watching Live Impact News on WCNC+. Thank you for joining us every morning from 9 to 11 as we bring you live streaming news, important content previously recorded or not, and great discussions on our community. Speaking of which, while South Carolina students are now back to school, kids across North Carolina have a few more weeks before they head back, but they are in preparation mode. And the YMCA of Catawba Valley is co-hosting back-to-school shopping events that will help benefit about 150 local students there. Margaret Ann Graffinino is joining us from the YMCA of Catawba Valley to tell us more about this community initiative. Good morning, Margaret Ann. Thanks for joining us here.
Good morning. Thank you, Jane.
All right. So talk to us about this initiative. How many, we know 150 students, but across a number of counties. How did this start?
The Bright Beginnings program is a national YMCA program where we partner with the school systems to select those students that wouldn't be able to purchase the new school supplies and clothing for their beginning of their school year. And so we partner with the 3 counties that we are involved in, which is Catawba, Burke, and Lincoln. And so we're going to have a Bright Beginnings program at each of those counties this year. And we have one of our first is tonight in Lincoln County. And then next week we have one in Burke and Catawba. So it's a national program, but it's very local.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. And so how are you making this possible for kids to be able to shop?
We have plenty of sponsors. We, as the YMCA, also, but then we have T-Mobile, which is a large sponsor this year. They are supplying all of the gift cards for the students to buy the clothing and shoes that they will need for the school year. We are also hosting all of our events at Belk, and so they are a very large sponsor. We also have Chick-fil-A, Piedmont Natural Gas, and our school systems.
With kids facing so many challenges in families with financial burdens and their stories. What are some of the specific challenges that families are facing that this really is a need that can help serve 150 families there?
Yeah, so we've been doing this since 2017, which is over 900 students that we've served in our community. We're giving the gift cards, and the students can go out and buy all of their clothing and shoes. We actually have a drive that took place in July for school supplies. So all of the school supplies were mainly donated, or a few were purchased from us. But that is one way our community has really come and helped. We have not had to buy that much school supplies, just a few things here and there. But our membership has provided a lot of the school supplies for those kids that they don't have to worry about buying those with their gift card. They can just worry about their clothing and shoes.
Oh, that's great. So walk us through these shopping events. How do the one-on-one shopping, how does that pairing work?
Yes, so we have volunteers and some staff, but we mainly like to see our volunteers. We pair them up with a student. A lot of them are families with a few different kids, so we'll pair up 1 or 2 community volunteers, and they will be given the gift card, and the volunteer will walk around the store with the kids and have a list of kind of what sizes they are, just so we can try to help with that part. But the kids will go around and they'll pick out a few different shirts and shoes and clothing. And it's a really exciting opportunity for our volunteers to see those students and help them where some of those students might not even be able to have got new clothes. And it's just a nice opportunity to see those smiles on the volunteers and the students' faces.
That is awesome. How do you choose the students at this point?
So the students are chosen from the schools. They're guidance counselors and principals from each elementary school. We have a few middle schools, and those students they're pre-selected from the school system, and we work heavily with them starting back in April to try to get all these students before the summer hits, because then sometimes it's hard to connect with those students. So we definitely try to get in early and select those families, so we're in touch with them throughout the summer.
All right, so the event's the first of 3 happening today, and then you have a couple of them next week. What do families need to know?
Well, they are pre-selected, and so we have 50 students from each county that we'll meet up with, and we'll help them with their gift cards and their personal shoppers. But yeah, so we have definitely a volunteer. I mean, we are definitely looking for volunteers if you'd like to reach out to be a volunteer for this program.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I wanted to know, if not for this event, how to get involved for the future, Margaret Ann. And really, beyond back to school shopping, what other youth empowerment programs does the YMCA of Catawba Valley, what can they offer for the school year?
We have a lot of before and after school. We have it in Burke County is where we started. We've opened the Lincoln County before and after school sites. And then this year we are now in Hickory City. So if those families need financial assistance, we offer that as well. But our before and after school programs, they are at the schools, and they operate before and after the bell, so that those students can have that extra support if they need that. It definitely helps the families who are trying to figure out timing of before and after school drop-offs, so we're there for them.
All right, very good. And then any final information that our viewers need to know this morning, whether it's for this event or for volunteering opportunities?
You can find our volunteer forms on our website at www.ymcacv.org. And we have a whole page on our Bright Beginnings program, but our volunteer forms are on our website.
Very good. Margaret Ann Graffinino, thank you for joining us from the YMCA of Catawba Valley. Happy shopping to those deserving kids, and hope they have a good time and start off the school year in a great way.
Yes, thank you.
All right, take care. All right, time right now is 10:10 here in the Live Impact studio on WCNC Plus. So while we're talking about school, getting ready for it, and some of your basic needs, something that is overlooked is the need for underwear. I talked to not programmers, but organizers yesterday from the group. It's a nonprofit, Undies for Everyone, and the great work that they do, and really how simple it is to get involved, just at home with one person. That being displayed by a nurse, a North Carolina nurse, who did just that, raising about $125,000, and she gave a big donation to Undies for Everyone. But if you missed this interview yesterday, it's one of those things, another school supply as we get those kids ready back to school. This previously recorded here on WCNC Plus. Special guest this morning, guests plural, as kids across South Carolina are heading back to school with new backpacks and really fun supplies. There is one essential item that often gets overlooked. We're talking about clean underwear, something most of us take for granted, but for children living in poverty, it can mean the difference between feeling confident and focusing on your class, and being too uncomfortable or self-conscious to focus on learning. So this morning we are joined by Rabbi Amy Weiss, the founder of Undies for Everyone, which is the nonprofit, and Jen Hamilton, North Carolina nurse, whose viral video about compassion sparked a major contribution and donation to Undies for Everyone. Amy is with us right now. Good morning, Amy. How did this program begin? What was the spark that you wanted to start this?
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me on. The impetus was really simple. A social worker told me years ago that kids were not getting basics. They were not getting underwear and socks. And she told me right around the holidays in Q4. So I decided I was blogging with the Houston Chronicle, and people sent me some underwear and some socks, a little money, and in 2012 I just decided that this is what I should be doing and made it into a nonprofit.
That is so admirable. And Jen, why this video? What was the impetus for you to start this video?
I was so disheartened to see so many people celebrating just meanness, being mean to immigrants, or federal funding being cut from really important programs for children, from healthcare. And I just kind of sat down and read from the Bible to people who claim to follow God, and just reminded them of the words of Jesus and the people that we should be caring for.
That is truly amazing efforts for both of you. And so tell us how this program, what it does. How can people get involved?
It's really easy to get involved. There are really three ways. You can go online and make a donation at undiesforeveryone.org, and to be honest, we buy underwear for way less than other people buy underwear, and we buy over 1 million pairs, so I think we have a little buying power, is what it comes down to. Someone can host a drive, or if you're a company or an organization or even an individual, you can sponsor an Undies for Change event where we send flat underwear, bags, and stickers. You roll the underwear, and 360 kids in your area benefit and receive that underwear. Each child receives 7 pair for a full week.
Fantastic. Amy, what was your reaction when Jen reached out to give Undies for Everyone $25,000?
Well, we could not believe it. It was sort of out of left field. Our finance director, her friend was the one that nominated us, and the finance just forgot to tell me. And suddenly I heard that we were receiving $25,000, and it's, things are kind of tough these days in the development arena, and it literally fell from heaven, and we're just so grateful to Jen for her generous heart and spirit and doing good with her work on social media.
And Jen, why, as a healthcare worker, you firsthand know the basic needs of people's well-being. How does this perspective influence your approach?
So I've been a nurse for 13 years, so I've seen people at their best, at their worst, and I know what happens when funding is cut, when important programs are not funded. And so in doing this viral video, you knew that there was a lot of people who were very angry about it, but then there was so much positivity behind it. And so what I did was I created shirts that went along with this thought of having compassion for everyone. And through the sale of those shirts, we were able to raise $125,000 for 5 different charities, and Undies for Everyone was one of those. And through being a nurse, I feel like it has impacted my perspective on so many things, and just making sure that everyone gets compassion.
As tomorrow is National Underwear Day, what message do either one of you have to send about dignity and basic needs?
Kids having underwear is more important than anyone can ever imagine. Kids want to be like everybody else, and they want to fit in with their peers, and they want to succeed in school. It's just something that most of us take for granted, and I hope that this week and tomorrow for National Underwear Day, everyone's appreciative of what they have, and maybe they'll open their hearts and their wallets a little bit and give somebody else the confidence and self-esteem that they take for granted because they have undies.
Jen?
I think that in this day and age, we are always looking for things that divide us, and I think that, especially tomorrow with being the National Underwear Day, I think that, we can all think of things that unite us as humans, and we all need underwear, we all need basic dignity, and I think that focusing on those things is what's most important.
Okay, ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning. An important message, and again, something that we take for granted here. And it's nice to see the compassion and generosity of our community for the Carolinas doing something like that on a viral video from Jen, and just recognizing the basic efforts from Amy. Rabbi Amy Weiss and Jen Hamilton, we thank you very much for joining us this morning live here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, we're bringing it back here now in the Live Impact studio on WCNC Plus Tuesday morning, just about 10:20 right now. We have a couple of things lined up. We're waiting for Chris Mulcahy to come into the studio because it is raining all over the place. It is such a dreary day, great day to nap if you can, or stay in and watch it fall. But it's also, I don't know if this is a great day or not. It's always a great day to talk about the Panthers, I suppose. And we've been in training camp now, week 2 2 full weeks. Yet
feels like it's been.
Maybe this is the second full week that that's underway. Okay, so our team. Sports Director Nick Carboni and Danielle Stein covering things there at Bank of America. Fan Fest took place over the weekend. And they are continuing the coverage there this week. Nick says it is all systems a go today in the rain.
Yep.
And so we're going to check in with him at 10:40.
Yep.
We'll get him on the phone. They can't show any of the footage.
Sure.
So that's all kind of, lips are sealed.
Yeah. NFL secret.
For their eyes only.
Yes.
But we'll get some inside scoop for sure. So Nick's coming up at 10:40. Stay with us for that. Right now at 10:20 here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We're also getting ready for school. And with that, WCNC Charlotte is happy to team up with United Way in this school supply drive. We have a phone bank scheduled for tomorrow because your donations help. Just like Rabbi Amy was talking about, the buying power. They, as a nonprofit, can buy things at a much lower cost than we can as regular, Jackson Janes going into a store. So this phone bank will help United Way get the school supplies for kids, especially with families that could use them the most and might have a little bit of a financial challenge or burden as they get the kids off to school. So this is going to be for tomorrow.
Yep.
We will have volunteers here at WCNC Charlotte starting at 11 o'clock. Happy to take your phone call from 11 till 12:30, and then we'll join us here on the newscast starting at 4. So hopefully you join
we'll
us
have actually
as
someone
well.
here in studio too.
And in studio.
And in studio here at Live Impact.
Fantastic.
Isn't that fun?
It will be fun.
Yep.
This is always a good time. I mean, gosh, Charlotte, you're so good about supporting the community and doing things, doing what we can. So, we know money's tight. So anything that you can help with is always appreciated. And so that's going to be something for tomorrow. Put that on your calendar. Today, we heard, is National Underwear Day. So Undies for Everyone, also a good nonprofit. And now we are going to just start out this press conference that happened yesterday, Carly?
Sure.
Is this the audit?
Yes.
North Carolina. Okay, so we know yesterday the auditor, state auditor for North Carolina, was checking out the DMV. Always challenge, right?
Yeah.
So they held a press conference yesterday, and upon their findings, well, they revealed it all. Let's check in for a moment here because my eyes are following Chris Mulcahy as he's walking into the studio now. Chris, do you need a moment?
My laptop just died. So.
Okay. So he needs a moment.
We can vamp if you want in the meantime.
All right. Well, we've been vamping. I don't know. Shall we?
Sure.
All right.
We shall vamp.
All right. So we had that heavy standing water on Wilkinson Boulevard. I know radar is still very busy. Just taking a peek over the shoulder here. And
I got some live cameras. Do you want a live camera?
Live cameras. Very lovely.
Look
Ooh
at
la
Lake
la.
Norman. Ew.
Ew is right.
It's all gray.
Water is calm.
Blah.
Every boat is
But
right
it is
there.
blah.
Every boat. No one's left the dock.
Yeah, no kidding. We haven't seen the picture like that in a while. This is summer, y'all. What's
There's a
going
reason
on?
why I didn't show the boating forecast because it's Ogtober, as I'm calling it.
Because you shouldn't be out there.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
be on the boat.
Ogtober. So yeah, August 5th is the date. But legitimately, the temperatures barely making it to 70 are actually more close to what we have around Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah. So I have a high of 71 today. Do I believe it? No. The way things are going, like seriously, we don't clear out the rain, and it looks like I think we will mid to late afternoon. But the max I have for a high today is 71. So, but there's a good chance that we're 69. 71 is the average high for October 21st. Once you get to, I think the 29th, 30th is where you average 69, and then the average high for Halloween is 68 degrees.
Boo.
So, yeah, or boo. More like it. Yeah, and it's really interesting, too, this pattern, the amount of rain that continues to push through. But here, I can bring up one graphic that's ready. It's just about me getting my access. So we're actually approaching the record for the day today, and most of the rain that we see has already fallen. So I don't think that we're going to double this by any stretch of the imagination, but we will have a chance for another inch. So if we get over 3.01, that's going to take the record for August 5th that was officially set back in 1880. So it's been a while since Charlotte has anything gotten close to that. And actually the second wettest August 5th on record was only about like 2.4 inches of rain. But all in all, it's just going to be on and off rain through a good portion of this morning heading into the afternoon. It's really not going to be about till the mid to late afternoon that we're even going to get this rain out of here. But yeah, it's just a dreadful, awful day. My wife even just had said, and I was like, well, This is not a motivational day whatsoever.
No. Nope.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. If you have nothing to do, this is great because honestly,
that's what I said. I was like, it'd be great to just nap, watch the rain fall.
Sit at home,
catch
man.
up on your binge watching. And did you say chips?
Oh, and sit at home and eat chips.
Oh,
It's like one of my
chips and
favorite
dips.
things to do in the world.
Ooh.
Sit at home and eat chips.
I am weak for chips, which is why I don't have them at home.
If I could have a nice Velveeta cheese dip and some chips,
all of it, I'll take it all.
and a binge watch or some good movies.
Good
that
movies.
sounds excellent.
Yeah.
Moving on to our other map to show some rain totals. We have close to 2 inches of rain, so identical totals here in Rock Hill and Gastonia, 1.96 inches of rain. But the crazy thing is, ignore Salisbury and Concord for whatever reason. Their sites are not reporting anything. Rockingham is, but it shows a 0. So most of the rain has really been just falling in that one swath. That's why you're seeing such big differences from Shelby to Lincolnton to Statesville compared to Gastonia, Charlotte, and Rock Hill. And now we're seeing over 2 inches of rain now in Monroe. That is one that's really shot up from the most recent rains. Rainfall per hour, the peak rain has really come down a little bit for the Charlotte area. That's actually more transitioned a little bit further off towards the east. But the reason why we had such a big uptick in rain totals in Monroe is because of this. This heavier rain where you're seeing some of the oranges kind of sat over Monroe a lot more, so that's why it was much heavier rain rates. Those are the ones that are almost a little bit closer to thunderstorm criteria. So wherever you look, you're looking at just absolutely torrential downpours. So right near McConnell's, that's coming down at a rain rate about a ½ inch to 0.65 of an inch per hour. But the good news is behind this, we're starting to see a better situation where it's more of a light to moderate rain and then even nothing at all. So this in general is going to continue to swing its way further off towards the east. We have multiple flash flood warnings down to the southwest, but none a little bit closer to home. So the heaviest rain is starting to come to an end, and we can also see some drier air that's now starting to take place as well. So there's the master system in general. Still a lot more rain further off towards the west that could start to roll back in. Just a wet morning. Here's a better look at our future cast. You're starting to see that little tail that is formed, pushed through by about 2. Charlotte at that point has seen more of a lighter rain, so I think by about noon to 1, the heaviest rain is done in Charlotte, but we're still going to see some passing showers. By mid to late afternoon is where we're starting to wind things down across the area. Still a chance for a spotty shower and then redevelopment of some showers and storms through the overnight. That'll push through tomorrow, so let's slow that down for you. See this little tail, kind of what it's doing right now. We'll have another batch of heavy rain that could be around either side of your morning commute, and then heading into the afternoon, a spotty shower, and I think we might even see some sunshine tomorrow, which is going to be a nice change. As far as how much rain we're going to see, in the near term up to 10 p.m., I think we could still add another inch to inch and a half of rain, some even up to 2, and that's really through the next few hours. So this is substantial. This is, I think, is to be as close as you can really get to a widespread rain event that doesn't lead to a flash flood warning, just because it's just long enough over a longer period of time. But if you had pretty much cut the amount of rain that we're seeing here in half as far as the duration goes, this would be a much bigger deal than it is. Now, it's not great. You're still seeing significant ponding. As we mentioned, there's wet shoes across the Charlotte area. There are people watching right now that could have a wet sock right now.
Wet socks, the
yeah.
worst.
And do you know what? We go out to you. Our hearts are with you.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
That's how you spend the rest of your day. But it's joking matter aside, this is still on the cusp of a big time rain as far as flooding can go. But it's just long enough that it's helping us out. I think you could get to around 70 degrees by 5 p.m. But as I mentioned, pretty much 69 to 71 is our range here in Charlotte. Overnight tonight, lows drop down to the mid 60s. On and off rain will be a possibility. And sunrise at 6:36. Rain will be in the area. Tomorrow, I think most of the rain's going to fall really before 1 p.m. before we start to get a lot of those showers to push out of here, and then we have the lower 70s to end the afternoon, and our rainfall chances come down significantly after Thursday. You just have a general chance for an isolated storm, but really we're watching this. You have that one wave that's further down towards the east. I think that's really going to be more of a day 7 to 10 that we see the effects, mainly a fish storm overall. overall. But hey, so I've seen those paths continue to move northwest. So we're not going to completely discount it, but likely it should back out to sea. But this one is now a 40% chance it could turn into a tropical storm. I think this one would likely be a named storm before the other one would. So that means over the next 2 to 4 days, we could be calling this either Tropical Depression number 5 or Tropical Storm Erin would be the next name. But regardless of that, it's still going to be a low pressure system that could bring some rain to the shoreline. So our 7-day forecast, it's taken a while. We've been stuck under this cold air damming. It's not going anywhere. We're back to around 80 degrees on Friday heading into Saturday. That's a little bit more typical of a September-like pattern. And then eventually we're back to about your August-like pattern by the middle of next week. So yeah, it's been a wacky couple of months. July the second hottest, and then all of a sudden we skip over August for what seems to be the first half of the month before it gets its August act together.
Yeah, settle in. Mid-80s. I can take that all day.
I'm not mad about it.
Right? This is Little Sugar Creek in Mecklenburg County. This is just behind Park Road Shopping Center at
Shout out
Rocky
to James. He's out
and
there.
Westfield. Oh, shout out
Ew.
James.
And see, this is what you expect when you have these type of rains. That's why, like, if you don't know the area, you're like, oh man, this is really bad. But we've seen this several, if not a dozen times a summertime, that those rains will really overwhelm the banks. But yeah, no, this is also a big point I want to make, that yes, we are seeing rain that is bringing us up to this nuisance flooding and some minor flooding across the area. If we got another one of these, and there is a chance tomorrow that we see some excessive rainfall, you do this for day 2, that's a bad situation. So I do want to let people know is that if we had already been seeing a lot more rain recently, which we really haven't in the long term or the widespread variety, this could be a big time flooding event. If these are thunderstorms, we would be talking about considerable flash flood warnings, but we're just on the cusp. But this is not a good day. There's going to be a lot of low-lying roads, as we're seeing here, a lot of greenways that are near streams and creeks. They're swollen because 2 inches of rain is 2 inches of rain. It doesn't matter how long of a period of a day it takes to get there. And we're actively seeing moderate to heavy rain across the area. So yeah,
Look
great.
at this, y'all. Hold on.
Okay,
this,
more?
this is live. Mason actually just put his camera up. This is at Ashby and North Tryon.
Yep, I know this.
Okay.
I know this area
This
too.
close I know where this is too.
It's under an overpass.
Yeah,
This is
I had to pass this every day on the way home to Noda.
One of those famous areas.
yeah, this is another one of those big time flooding areas. But this also we can actually see the testament here. For one, you can tell it's low lying, so it's flowing downhill,
Yep.
and you can see where the water's flowing from. So these type of areas in Charlotte, and Charlotte's growing, and that's fantastic. But the problem is with all this concrete and infrastructure allows for a lot of runoff. So that's why certain areas that are low lying are going to be underwater. So this is not the only place like this. There are going to be a couple dozen places most likely like this. So it might seem like I'm downplaying it. I'm just saying that it could be a whole lot worse. This still isn't great. We really call this and classify this one as minor flooding or nuisance flooding. Like, that's a nuisance. That's not great at all, because that right there, if you drive through the water,
My car ain't making it.
Well, I mean, that
My bug
car
ain't
has
making
its
it.
hazards on,
So-
so obviously.
I mean, I feel like
Stuck?
the last time it was a big, I want to say it was a couple months ago, we had a big weather, just a lot of rain, kind of like this. Same area. Someone got stuck.
Yeah.
could have been an accident
So-
here too.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
Because
we're
I
look-
see it looks like a bumper on the side, or that could have been already there.
Yeah, some debris. So this
So-
is, again, Ashby Street in North Tryon.
Mm-hmm.
And the live picture from our Mason Foster, photojournalist there, who says that the flooding actually looks way worse here than at Wilkinson.
Well, and actually, because at this point, Mecklenburg County was just put under a flash flood warning.
Yes.
So this is a base flash flood warning that we do have just because of the rain rates. And truly, luckily, we're going to see the back end. But yeah, no, you're now into the base zone here, because we're seeing roads underwater. You're seeing the creeks that are really swollen up here, and there's still rain rates about 1/4 to 1/2 inch per hour that we're seeing here. So the newest update right here, that flash flood warning goes all the way until 4:15 in the afternoon. So that is significant, and it's just for Mecklenburg County specifically. And notice how it says radar and gauge indicated? That's picking up on those gauges around the streams and creeks. So that's why it's specifically, even though we've actually seen more rain in surrounding areas, because I think Charlotte specifically, because of its infrastructure and low-lying areas and the creeks and the streams, and we know how many of those are around the area, they're under a flash flood warning before the rest, just because of their better chance for a general flash flooding across the afternoon. So I think things are going to get a little bit better a couple hours from now, but right now we're in the thick of it. So yeah, if you don't have to travel, I wouldn't, with especially the way that the water is actively rising. Avoid those low-lying roads, and I wouldn't be surprised if you are going to see some of these sectors that are certain destinations underwater. So what I would really do is, even if you know where you're going, you know the area, put in your GPS, because oftentimes, especially Google Maps will do a good job of picking up on what roads are closed and which ones aren't. So that would be my best recommendation for the near term.
Chris, we have a special guest.
Okay.
We're going to bring in James Brierton right now.
My
He
man.
is
All
figuring
right.
out, hey, James, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you. And I was just listening to Chris talking about the rising waters, and here they are. This is the Little Sugar Creek, guys, just behind Park Road Shopping Center. You know where Amelie's is? We're along Brandywine. And I don't know if you can make this out, but that's the railing that you would normally walk alongside if you were on the greenway here. So when Chris says the waters are rising quickly, this is exactly what he's referring to.
Yeah, so and that's the definition of a flash flood warning. If you had rain just over in James, I think it's really the rain rates that we've had recently. Like, this is kind of the heaviest that we've seen here. This can happen with just a general quick thunderstorm, but now it's really been compounding. So it's the rain right now that I think it's really going to make the next couple hours the worst. But yeah, they're warning us just because of exactly where you're at, man. What's the parking lot look like?
Well, Chris, I'm so glad you brought that up. When you asked me about the parking lot, I think it helps kind of convey what the real life impacts are, because we've talked about from time to time how the Little Sugar Creek and the Greenway are designed to flood. So some of this is expected to be normal. If I may, I'm actually going to walk away from the parking lot, walking away from Park Road Shopping Center, because I want to take you over here to Westfield Drive. It's another area we've talked about before, because this is actually an area where the government has reclaimed property because it often floods. And it's doing that right now. So Westfield Road, I'm going to take a quick little walk here. You guys will be down here in about 15 seconds. The roadway is becoming covered in water. So when we start talking about like real world impacts, this is a road that is still currently open. There's no barricades or anything. So someone could drive down into this. And although these lots over here have all been reclaimed because of previous flooding, homes and things are not that far away. So Chris, when you talk about why the National Weather Service has issued the flash flood warning, I think it's exactly for situations like this, where we're not too far away from that home right over there.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was only like a 20-second walk, if that. And how, I mean, are your feet, you seem to be finding one of those, relatively drier patches, James, walking around.
My feet are soaking wet, Jan. So when I get to the studio, hopefully somebody has another pair of shoes for me.
Yeah, the wet socks we were talking about.
The wet socks. I drove down this road maybe 5 minutes ago, and it was still somewhat passable. But I would say give it another 5 or 10 minutes. If the rain continues at this rate, I would not advise driving down this road, because, matter of fact, there's actually a car right now backing up. I just watched this vehicle turn from a side street and try to go down this road. It's reversing and now bailing out onto a side street.
Yeah, and so now we literally had, it goes ponding, significant ponding, nuisance flooding to minor flooding. And we're definitely seeing that, James. Like, we've seen a lot of situations like this before. But are you familiar specifically with this? Because I know they reclaimed a lot of lands. How often have you kind of seen it like this in this area?
I think it's one of the areas, Chris, that as a weather team, we know that if something's going to flood, this is an area that is likely to flood. It's a flood-prone area. But what I would say, and I don't know how often I've stood in this exact spot, but when I'm starting to watch, okay, this first lot that's been reclaimed, it's flooding, but it's not that far away from the next home. If I owned that home, I would be concerned.
Yeah, and again, specifically, that's why I think that the National Weather Service pinged all of Mecklenburg County being the most densely populated area, because right around where James is currently sitting, I'm seeing rain rates of about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch per hour, my man. Is the rain gotten a little bit lighter compared to, say, it was about 30 minutes ago?
In the 15 or 20 minutes since I've been here, Chris, the rain has been pretty steady at the same moderate to heavy rate. I will also add, it's a two-way communication we have with the National Weather Service. They issue warnings, we relay them out to the public. While I've been standing here, I've been sending them photos and videos too to help them make their weather decision as they were getting ready to issue that flash flood warning.
Yeah, and see, honestly, you literally might have been the water that pushed it over the levee, because we were right there. We were seeing a lot of different events. But one thing that's really been happening here is the rain, James, was trending a little bit further east, but then it's just been sticking in one spot. So this is the classic definition of flash flooding. But James, we were talking about this. So you, of course, have your Carolina Weather Group. We can thank our lucky stars that this isn't a chain of thunderstorms, because we were talking about thunderstorms rain with this has been really just steady. No thunder and lightning, no 2+ inch rates that have been here. This could be historic flooding. This could be like more than base, more considerable flash flooding if we could get some heavier rates. But honestly, right on the cusp, just kind of seeing the impacts right there just shows what can happen with 2 inches of rain across a morning.
Yeah, I'm watching a storm drain here, Chris, and I apologize because I'm only on Zoom, so I don't think I have much ability to zoom in. But if you guys can make it out, there's a storm drain there working very hard to keep up with the rain rates, but I can already see like a stick and thing sticking out of it. So if enough debris were to get caught in that, it would probably hamper. And way down the street here, I am seeing more headlights. I'm watching. Oh, they also just bailed onto the side street. So far, drivers seem to be making a pretty good decision to stay off this street, but it's still open to the public. So turn around, don't drown. If you come across a flooded roadway here or any place else, you don't know how deep that water is, and you don't know if the pavement is still there. In this case, I believe it is, but that is our general advice anytime you encounter a flooded roadway.
We were watching the one car make that left turn
Yeah,
in your picture, James. He made it real slow. Looked like they were able to at least find a passable stretch of that road.
Well, James, we appreciate everything that you do, man. And sorry you're getting so wet for us, and sorry for the wet shoes, but you're doing great work, my friend.
I clearly need to keep an umbrella in the car.
Really, he is boots on the ground, wet socks on the ground for us.
Boots on the ground, water on his head.
I'm going to go walk back to my car because I left it in that parking lot that Chris asked me about, and ever since he asked me about how the parking lot's doing, I've been worried about my car.
Okay,
Oh,
well, why don't we just walk back with you, because we enjoy this time as well. Plus, you can also see, like, look at James's jacket or shirt. I thought it was actually is that a jacket or is that a shirt? Yeah, it was a jacket. Yeah, no,
it's a jacket.
It's not waterproof.
It's a sponge. I was gonna say his undershirt is wet. Yeah, this is the type of rain that just saturates you.
This is the real life.
Oh yeah, let me see. And see that this
I'm
is
walking down the Greenway.
Oh boy.
See, and this is the deal. Notice the downhill. It's these low-lying areas that all of that runoff, and we talk about runoff when you have saturated soils, or sometimes really dry ground in certain cases, or after a wildfire. Concrete is the most runoff, so that's why you're seeing things like this. Yeah, and that's happening fast. James, it's been a while since we've had really a solid Sugar Creek flooding around here in Park Road.
Yeah, it's a thing that has happened before because, they design these areas so that they swell and they flood versus other areas. It's a technology or technique they use to kind of combat urban flooding. But, we want to make sure it stays confined to the channel. I just watched a vehicle drive down Westfield, and I'm still trying to decide whether or not he's going to make it all the way down. It looked like one of those, construction vehicles. Yeah, he's going for it. He's probably too far away for you guys to see.
Let's watch. Yeah, I don't see anything.
But he's kicking up a lot of water.
Yeah.
A lot of water. And he is bailing onto a side street. So I think he regretted his decision. Oh,
no. Now, you came up that way on the Greenway to your car, from your car, right?
If I walk back across the bridge, my car is on the Park Road Shopping Center side. So that's where I'm going to go up and over the bridge because I think it would make more sense for me to be on the side with my car.
Yeah, and James, I was just looking at the gauge heights for this location. So right now it looks like it's up to about 10 feet. Believe it or not, once you really get into the minor flooding that they start doing jurisdictions, it's about 15 feet. But actually the last time that we had heights that you're at right now was June 12th of 2025. And before that, the last time that I actually got this high was September 28th, 2024.
So, Chris, you're talking about the gauge heights. This is the gauge camera. So when
there it is.
Oh, look at that.
System, this is the camera that Chris sometimes will show you a still picture of from the Weather Center. And as Chris is looking at the gauge heights, I think the gauge is right down here, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to see if I can find it.
Yeah, because looking at these times, it shot up. Trust me, it's over 10 feet, and we still have some active rain that it's still going to filter back in here. So again, if you're just joining us, flash flood warning for Mecklenburg County. Our own James Brierton has been showing you examples like Sugar Creek Road and also some low-lying areas. There was another one in Noda that we're seeing a lot of those low-lying locations that are underwater, and as all the runoff is coming there, where we've seen up and over 2 inches of rain across the area. Most recently, the height of about 10.5 feet at the Little Sugar Creek Greenway. So here's what James is showing us.
There's a live picture from James's phone
up
right
over the
now,
fence.
Right?
Yeah.
Over the
James
fence,
is
right
very
behind
wet phone.
Amelie's.
Can you see how fast this is flowing? Like,
Very
If
fast.
for some reason you were to get swept into that, you would likely struggle to keep, that's flowing fast, is my point.
Well, and also, so 11 feet, you're saying, we did it in June, but realistically, the heights that you're looking at right now, looking over the last year, has only happened 1, 2, 3, 4. This is only the 5th time that we've been at this level and this height over the last year. So, yes, as we mentioned, James, this does happen, but it's still more of a rarity that we get up to this point. And then the worst part is I'm actively watching the radar right now and heading right towards you. You kind of have that yellow transition back over to the orange. And that means that where you're standing, the rain's actually going to pick up a little bit more before it's starting to lighten up. So, yeah, we're not at its best. So, yeah, I'm talking about 10 feet. It could get a little bit higher. It's not even at action stage technically quite just yet, but honestly, we're getting a little bit close enough. So try to avoid those areas if you can. Unless you're going to try to get us some video safely, as you're trying to do with James. But James knows what he's doing. He's one of the best in the biz.
Absolutely. James, how does that...
The water is definitely rising.
How does the camera... Can you walk us through what those gauges do, the camera, the purpose of that you just showed us?
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe Chris can bring up, or Carlene there can bring up Mecklenburg FINS, FINS. So it's a real-time collaboration between the county and USGS, I believe. And so they have gauges along the creek, so we can track their rise. It helps the National Weather Service know when to issue warnings because they're monitoring from Greenville, Spartanburg. It helps us in the Weather Center know what is actually happening if one of us is not standing out here. Then in certain locations, they're combined with webcams that take pictures every 5 or 10 minutes or so because seeing is believing. And I believe the third part of that system actually has rain buckets, rain gauges. So they're actually measuring in certain locations how much rain has fallen, because once that rain falls, Jane, it has to flow down into the creek. So it rolls down the streets, it rolls down through the sewage drains into the creeks, because the creeks will then take it onto the rivers and out of Mecklenburg County. But as you can see, if you think of this as like I-85 at rush hour, this is rush hour right now for all of this water that is trying to flow off of all of our urban settings down and out of the area.
Yeah, and I'm on the fins right now. It's struggling after trying to load, so sometimes the rain can affect things like this. But I'm checking some other areas around you, sir, such as the Steel Creek at Carowinds Boulevard. That's up to action stage. We actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different locations that are at least action stage as far as flooding goes. There's actually one off of Little Sugar Creek below 36th Street is at 9.37 feet, so that's action stage, almost to minor flooding. We also have The record is 12.9 at Briar Creek and Independence Boulevard. That's up to 8.56, so nothing too historic there. But the Little Sugar Creek at Medical Center Drive, the most recent update, actually got up to, let's see, up to 12.34, James. So before we were talking about 10, so flood stage officially is 13.5. So we're about a foot away from the official flood stage at that site. So that's definitely where we're seeing some of the worst rise in water for the time being.
I've gone whitewater rafting a few times before, Chris, in my life, and it tends to look like that.
Oh, boy.
That is the Little Sugar Creek. If you've ever walked the new greenway that opened in the last year or two behind Park Road Shopping Center here, you know the creek is generally just miles, maybe like a low, couple feet. That looks like whitewater rafting that I've done.
Yeah, and I personally, this fast only happens at most like once or twice a year. Like that's a big time flow.
Here comes a fire department vehicle. Let's see if A, they chase me out, or B, if they stop here and take a look. They do certainly have lights on. So.
Well, and it's at this point, not just because of the National Weather Service.
With WCNC.
Oh, here we go.
So I think they're doing exactly what we're doing, Chris. I think they're checking out the water levels here.
Okay.
So we'll watch for a moment. So this is a Charlotte Fire Department vehicle. It also says Mecklenburg County Emergency Management on it, because they're also going to relay information back to the emergency management and onto the National Weather Service. I talked before about how when we were out here, we were sending information back to the National Weather Service. Charlotte Mecklenburg Emergency Management is also in that same chat room.
Yeah, and I was looking here at fins too. What's actually interesting is because we focus on the airport where we've been showing that 1.96, but some of the fins data showing Freedom Park accumulation of 4 inches of rain, Collinswood Elementary 4.7 inches of rain, and yeah, so right around there, that's kind of a cluster. We also have 3.8 at the USGS
How are we
office.
looking, sir? Well, good. I'm James with WCNC. We're streaming right now. Yeah, I'm Tony Bateman with Emergency Management. So we've got high water all across the county. Several vehicles flooded. Wow. Okay. But we're able to manage to rescue all of the occupants. So we don't have, so we don't have any of that issue going on. Do you know how many water rescues or water-related calls you've had so far? They're starting to mount, probably 10. Okay. I'm going up here to Mockingbird now. Check Mockingbird. Okay. Mockingbird got an issue. This is an area that flooded about 20 years ago. Because I worked on this particular project, and we mitigated a lot of it. So sure. That's why we don't have houses here. But we obviously still have problems. Right? Yeah, we were speculating that, although this floods from time to time, this seems like one of the higher ones we've seen in recent memory. Yeah, it's a lot of water. Anything you want our viewers to know in terms of action? Turn around, don't drown. Turn around, don't drown. That's the message. Tony, was it? Tony. What? Tony Bateman with Charlotte Mecklenburg Emergency Management. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. You're welcome. You be safe out here. I will. Because water no second chances with water. Absolutely. I've told them a couple times that I'll probably be moving off the bridge pretty soon. That's another thing for the viewers to remember. Water's very dangerous. There's no second chances. That's a great advice. Yeah, the water. Stay away from it, even though it's kind of magical. We got to stay away from it. It's a very fast flow we have today. Yep. FEMA still says that our number one threat is urban flooding. Urban flooding, and you're seeing a great example of urban flooding. Right, a lot of impervious surfaces that the water runs off into the natural creek beds, and all of a sudden we have Yeah, our meteorologist was saying there's more rain still to come. So it seems like we might be in this for a minute. I think all day. All day, yeah. Brad, right? Yep, Brad, and then Chris Mulcahy's in my ear right now. Okay. Yep. So tell Brad and Chris, Tony said hey. Okay, I will. Thank you, Tony.
Hello.
Hey, Tony. What did he say?
I don't know my number, so you're free to come in anytime. All right, we will do that, sir. Stay safe as well. Thank you. So you guys heard that update there.
He was great.
They're thinking the same thing we're thinking. This is a little bit more than usual.
Yeah, and I think, James, if you could just turn around and just show the fast flow of the water, I want to put in this perspective because this happens all the time. We just think about it as like, well, this is just Little Sugar Creek. That's no big deal. How many times have you seen video of fast-moving waters that is a stream or a river? Just because this is technically just a creek, it is moving so fast that if you slip and end up being too close to these greenways and caught in that, as you said, one of the biggest threats is urban flooding. So just don't underestimate these type of things. And then people say, it's like, oh, I'm just driving around through the puddles. No, we've already seen a bunch of hazards flashing from people that have been trying to go through the flooded waters. There's likely going to be a lot of road closure with this until everything starts to retreat itself because the drains are overwhelmed. All you need is about a quarter to a half inch of rain when it's this saturated and this flooded to keep things going. And we're at least going to have that at least over the next 30 minutes or so, because even behind that, you still have some heavier rain as well. So yeah, no, it's flowing, my friend.
Westfield Road is completely covered. So when we started our conversation about half an hour ago, people were still kind of attempting to make it down the middle. I can barely see any of the pavement on Westfield.
Hey,
this is what Tony was just talking. Oh, go ahead, Jan.
Yeah, James. I don't know if your phone got waterlogged a little bit, but you're coming in a little muffled. Just wanted to let you know in case you're able to clear that. But it says you said that it's beginning to recede just a touch.
No, it's absolutely
There
still
we go,
going
it's
up,
better.
Jane. The road is more covered now than it was before.
Oh no.
Is that audio any better?
That's perfect.
It's much better.
Much better.
Yeah,
except for the water that just hit the lens.
We either
Besides
get audio
that.
or video.
Can't have both.
We can't have both.
This is the road.
Okay. Oh no.
Wow, yeah.
Do you have galoshes on? Do you have like?
No, I guarantee he just has his James sneaks.
Oh, James, do you have
Oh,
those are sneakers.
Yeah, I know.
And jeans.
And he's wearing jeans.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what this driver is going to do. I'm assuming they're going to turn around.
Yeah, I always like to see. Oh, yep. You called that.
See, and that was a smart way. So lead by example here. Let me see.
And James, you said Tony. You asked him how many rescues they conducted already. He said about 7 or 10.
I think he said about 10, and he said that number is going up. He did mention that all of them have been successful so far. Biggest advice is turn around, don't drown. Jane, to give us a little before and after, in the half an hour we were talking, when I first was showing you guys Westfield Drive, I was standing on the other side of that tree. It is now under water by probably about an inch.
Yep.
All right.
It is fast moving.
Yeah, and I can say that it's only wavered a little bit. Looking at the highest creek where James is, it hit its peak at 12.34 feet. That was 15 minutes ago. It's come down a couple of inches, but not too much. All you need is another quick burst of rain to bring that up. So yeah, no, actively as far as flooding goes, looking at the radar, the way things are going to be, I think we're right around the peak as far as the worst conditions. But as we know, water will flow downstream, so it could lead to further issues, more roads underwater. So I'm going to say, if you're watching WCNC Plus right now, most likely you're at home from your TV set. I would try to avoid travel because this afternoon we are going to see a break in the rain, but still some very heavy rain now, and we still have that active flash flood warning until 4:15. That usually will always go even outside the time that it is actively raining, because you're going to have that chance for the streams to still swell as everything's starting to collide into one area. But yeah, no, it's shows the classic event when you have all this rain, and especially in certain locations. Even though we base a lot of our rain totals at the airport, we are seeing rain totals for this morning alone up to 4 inches of rain. That's enough to do just this.
Let me interrupt here real quick, guys. We are coming up at 11 o'clock. Normally, we would get you over to Charlotte today, but because of this flash flood warning, serious situation with this heavy rain, we're going to extend our streaming coverage until 11:30 this morning. You are watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Jane Monreal, joined by our producer, James Byerton, who is out there by Park Road Shopping Center, as well as our meteorologist, Chris Mulcahy, here in studio, giving you real-time conditions, pictures, video, even interviews with emergency crews out there monitoring water rescues and the situation there at Sugar Creek. James, tell us where you are and just kind of set up what you've been covering and seeing so far.
Jane, I'm out here on Brandywine, which is in Charlotte, just behind Park Road Shopping Center. And we've been out here for about half an hour or so because it's along the Little Sugar Creek. And that's one of the areas where all of this urban water that falls from the sky, sewage drains, runoff, it all accumulates into creeks just like this one. And we've been watching the water slowly rise over the course of the last half an hour or so. And I'm about to, once again, make my way onto the bridge over the Little Sugar Creek. And Chris has been monitoring the rain gauges and the creek gauges around this area, how quickly that water has been rising. And this area over here to the right is down here that you would be walking here, not the water. If you were to find yourself, Jane, in this water, it is flowing very quickly. When I first got out here about half an hour ago, Chris Mulcahy was asking me, how's the park over there now, and probably move my car further away from the creek.
Probably a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Lead by example. I think that's really interesting, James, too, is here around Uptown. But we're seeing actually closer to 3 to 4 inches more widespread in York County, as you can see here. And even still over 2 inches of rain in Charlotte. But even with the higher rain totals to the southwest, the reason why you only have a flash flood warning right now solely here in Mecklenburg County is because just that. It's the infrastructure. And that's one of the biggest problems that our city does have. Whenever you have events like this, we have a bunch of streams and creeks, and then that water will flow downhill into the streams and creeks. Those overwhelm certain areas, and especially some of those low-lying areas is where you always have the worst conditions. But again, a flash flood warning goes until 4:15. As far as our rain rates go, it was really hit its peak about 6 to 7 o'clock. But where James is, I would really say move that after an hour. Really 7 to 8 is where we're seeing some of the heavier rain. But you're still picking up about a 1/4 inch of rain per hour, and we've now had 2.18 inches of rain here in Charlotte. So we're actually a little bit closer to the actual record, and that's just at the airport. Meanwhile, I'm live looking at some of our most recent totals. The biggest one I'm actually seeing right now over the last 24 hours is at Collinswood Elementary, seeing a total of, 4.79 inches of rain. We also have the YMCA Camp Thunderbird. That's a little bit closer to Steel Creek area. 4.66 inches of rain. Even seeing rain increments accumulated up to 4.15 inches of rain in Uptown. So most of the area up to 2 inches, but we have seen some localized heavier rain totals across the area. So kind of keep that in mind. The record for today is 3.01. Well, we're getting pretty close to that. Now, here's the active rain. So let's track the rain. Let's see where things are going. And we'll bring up our HRRR to see where things are trending, because it should have gone through a new update now, because it updates every hour. So here's the flash flood warning. It's for all of Mecklenburg County going until 4:15. But it's specifically, I think, areas really from Uptown down to the south that we've had some of the heavier rain. We're still actively seeing that. And here's what we've seen over the last hour. It hasn't moved much. You had one moderate shower replaced by heavy rain, and then it's just been pretty much sitting there. So it's circulating on its own. Eventually, it's going to be replaced by more of a light to a moderate rainfall, but that's not happening now. So it's really, I have to say, over the next hour or so, we're actively hitting our peak as far as rain intensity, probably some of the rain impacts, but sometimes it could linger as much as an hour afterwards as you're hitting some of the crests of those local streams and creeks. Many of them at least around action stage or close to action stage. I've not seen any active right now at the minor flood levels, but here's the system as a whole. Check it out. we have multiple flash flood warnings across the state, several in South Carolina, and that's been the name of the game. But then behind this system, we're actually going to see more just what's called stratiform precipitation, but the heaviest rain is actually down here to the south. Not seeing any thunder and light. Oh yeah, there is some thunder and lightning with this. This is the type of rain that I was talking about. If we had this rain over us with this event, we could be talking about a considerable flash flood warning. So that's why this isn't a good situation, don't get me wrong, but this is the type of setup that leads to flood events. And we're actively seeing it right now, and there is going to be a silver lining that things will start to get out of here. Here is the most recent HRRR. Check it out. So by 2 o'clock, they're showing that pretty much the heavier bands of rain are a little bit further off towards the east. So it should just be light rain at that point. But it's still light rain. So that's going to allow the creeks to be able to take a step back, allow for some of that rain that's going to be dissolving. Here, Carlene, somebody's talking to you in that, so I'm going to pass that on.
Yeah, I was good. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, and then last bit is at least by the mid to late afternoon, we're clearing out all the rain in general to allow things to recover a little bit. But for the time being, lunchtime, Park Road Shopping Plaza, not a good situation. But if you're especially familiar in Charlotte, what areas flood? Well, they're flooding to the max that they usually do.
Yeah, I was going to say that, you know, it's we don't see the torrential rain pouring on James, but it's enough anyway to cause all of this flash flooding and this damage and real precarious situations out there.
Hey, James, if you can hear me.
I got you, Jane. Go ahead.
Our Zoom is going to run out of time. If you want to log off and log back onto the Zoom, that'd be great.
Okay. All right.
All right. Yep.
Okay, and we actually do have a new flash flood warning. This is now also gauge indicated, and this is for York County. So I was mentioning that, I was curious. I was like, man, there's no flash flood warning, and it definitely was the infrastructure that was helping that out, but also what areas and towns are in York County. We have Rock Hill, we have Fort Mill, and those areas are now starting to see some situations as well. So that is a flash flood warning that officially goes until 4:45, and they're luckily going to be on the back end of some of their heavy rain, but not quite. It's still going to be an hour that we're dealing with some of that moderate rain. And each one of these will have a certain statement. So here, let's the most recent statement by the National Weather Service, 11:04, they officially issued this one. Automated gauges indicate heavy rainfall. They're actually calling that some areas over the last 6 to 8 hours have 3 to 5 inches of rain. And we've kind of seen that in the Charlotte area. There's a lot of localized heavier rainfall totals. On average, most people have seen up to about 2 inches, but some of the localized totals have been anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain coming down. So that's calling excessive runoff, and over the next 1 to 3 hours, they're saying streams may significantly exceed their banks, and they're starting to see there as well. So now we officially have 2 flash flood warnings, one for York and one for Mecklenburg County.
All right, just want to let everybody know here at 11:07, this is extended weather impact alert coverage as we are following the flash flood warning with our producer, James Brierton, who is out by Park Road Shopping Center, and meteorologist Chris Mulcahy doing this extended coverage following the radar here in the Live Impact studio. I'm Jane Monreal. We appreciate you staying with us for real-time conditions, radar coverage, as well as live pictures, even an impromptu interview with emergency personnel. And we will continue this into our midday newscast on WCNC Charlotte. In the meantime, James, now you are still looking at Sugar Creek. How does that look?
Well, here, as far as I can tell, looks about the same to me, Jane, because what I've been using is kind of just real-life objects to mark the flow. So we have a railing right along here. So this is Brandywine behind Park Road Shopping Center. If you've been down here, you might park at Park Road Shopping Center, walk across the bridge, and then access the greenway right over here. There's a little ramp that comes on down. Actually, let me interrupt. You see there's a piece of debris flowing through here, and I just thought that might be an easier object to see as we're trying to understand the flow. But what I was saying, Jane, was little sidewalk here, there's a railing, and I would say it's more because less of it is visible to me, but it's right on in here where you can kind of see there's a little bit of a current that's being caused by the railing. Chris was talking about how the water lands across our urban setting and then flows down into these creeks. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing here, because I'm going to walk back down towards Westfield Road, and you can actually see the water coming out of neighborhood and flowing right down this sidewalk. And so as the rain continues to fall, you got to think of the whole area as a giant catch basin. So the creeks are trying to maintain flow, not only for the water that's falling directly into them, but for all of the surrounding urban areas, the flow coming off the roadway, the flow coming out of the drains. And in the past hour that we've been here, Westfield Road behind the Park Road Shopping Center is completely impassable. And drivers should be aware that roads like this exist without any barriers on them. There is nothing at the start of this street that would forewarn you that there is water ahead. And it's not until you make the turn that you're going to realize that the road has been replaced by water. Jane?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like for the most part, we have seen very light pedestrian traffic. I do see a couple people there in the background with umbrellas and not too many cars, at least through that area. So hopefully people are smartening up and turning around rather than trying to even deal with any of this. So did it seem like that to you? Kind of just light traffic?
Yeah, and about the hour I've been out here, I've only seen I think a gentleman walking his dog. So the foot traffic has been very light, which is good. We're still seeing drivers continuing up and down the road here, but we have watched through this. I'm going to show you right here at Manor Road and Westfield, there's a big log in the street. It's right behind that telephone pole, laying in the ground. I'm on Zoom, so I don't have a whole lot of telephoto, but maybe I can just kind of hold my phone out in this direction. You know, we got to start thinking about debris flow with some of this stuff, because giant objects like that are going to get caught places and they could impede the flow of water. About an hour ago here on the stream, Jane, we were looking at a storm drain that at the time I said was doing fairly well. That storm drain is somewhere underneath all of that water by the fire hydrant.
That is incredible. So this is actually getting just more and more serious as the minutes, you know, just time flying by here. We're just following all of that. James, Chris, you are following this area. You're looking at South Charlotte right now.
Yeah, and just really just trying to see if there's any new updates coming here. So again, we have flash flood warnings for now York and also Mecklenburg County. Those are the two. About a 30-minute difference between the two. So I was just looking at certain data, and as James had mentioned, things are probably going to get worse over the next hour or so. So even though we are looking at a kind of a silver lining that some of the rain is going to start to lighten up, I would say over the next 20 to 30 minutes significantly, all that water is starting to overflow downhill. So these things really kind of compound on themselves. So the heaviest rain will be done over the next, I would say, hour. But that isn't soon enough, truly, because look at all that flow that is coming from this. That is significant. Now we're honestly getting to the point that would be life-threatening, because if that's going to knock you down. If you try to walk through that, 6 inches of fast-moving water like that will knock you down physically, and that could just tumble you and just lead to the worst-case scenarios. So now we are at the point that if you try to challenge this type of water, that's not going to be a good situation. I don't want anyone trying to drive through this or even really be near there in general. James is being safe about this, but then some people will just underestimate this. Oh, this is just a little creek. It's no big deal. That is moving very, very fast. And this is one of the main reasons why we are under this flash flood warning. So right now where James is standing, he's not going to get knocked down. He just showed you just pretty much just the tips of his finger. But all he had to do is just take probably several steps down. That's going to be that 6 inches, and that could sweep you off your feet.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, Chris, sorry, Jane, some of the highest flow I've seen is where I can safely make my way down towards the Greenway, because, again, this is that area where you would access the Greenway from right here on Brandywine and Westfield Road, and it has been rising the entire time that I've been out here, and it's kind of the closest access we have to, again, safely show you. I don't know what else to call them, Chris, other than rapids.
Really, very, very fast moving. Hey, guys, but put a pin in this for a second. We're looking at your picture live, James, as Chris Mulcahy is here in the Live Impact studio. I'm Jane Monreal. We want to get to East Charlotte. We're showing you live images so far in the last hour of Park Road Shopping Center in the South Charlotte area, but our Destiny Richards is now in East Charlotte. And Destiny, this is on North Tryon. We're looking at this tow truck ready to haul this car. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, this is at North Tryon Street, just north of Uptown. If you're familiar, right underneath the train tracks here at, I would say the cross street is Ashby, and then on the other side where the tow truck is East 16th Street. And we definitely had a situation here. As you can see, very high floodwaters, cars stuck earlier, just one stuck right now. But this is definitely what you do not want to be driving through. Thankfully, a tow truck is here on scene. We have CMPD that's blocking North Tryon Street on both sides of this bridge. So definitely a situation where you have water that is just flooding. And you can see some of the runoff just off the side of the road into the street as well. So definitely a dangerous situation. Thankfully, the road is blocked off, so no one else driving in this area, but it's just been, as you've been talking about, just a big day of flash flooding. Earlier we're at Wilkinson Boulevard and Sam Wilson, and that wasn't nearly as bad compared to what we're seeing right now. Just people slowing down to get through the water, and CMPD had put up some barricades on the right lane so that people would go to the left. But as we were leaving that spot to come here, the floodwaters were rising even on the left lane side. So right now we're seeing this vehicle, not sure, we cannot see at this time if anyone is in there, hopefully not. But as you can see, they're trying to get this car out. So definitely a dangerous situation out there on the roads.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking earlier, just people driving in the middle lanes, heavy standing water on those outside lanes. But obviously, someone tried to pass through and they couldn't do it, and people are getting stuck. James talked to fire personnel, emergency personnel near Park Road Shopping Center, and saying that so far they've conducted 10 water rescues successfully, but it seems like that number is going up. And we can see here, evident here, that cars are getting stuck in the water. All right, Destiny, thank you so much for bringing us those live pictures out of East Charlotte on North Tryon. And I know you're getting ready for the midday on WCNC Charlotte coming up at 11:30. And we
Stay
wish
safe.
the driver and you and your crew well out there on North Tryon covering this for the midday. And we could see that it's not this torrential rain that we've been talking about, right? So it's been sort of just slow and steady, but James, that's enough to really cause all of this damage. We saw the tree debris flow down there where you were, and it was moving fast now at a rapid rate, and this is where it gets really dangerous.
Yeah, and
Jane,
I
as you
also
were
do
just
want to say, yeah, because we're hearing Destiny right now. Can we bring up James?
Yeah, James is up.
Hey, James, real quick, I want to ask you one question. Did you, on your phone, receive a WIA alert for this?
I did not.
Yeah, it was really it kind of was like, I was looking on the chat, and they were going to go base warning, but then it's labeled as a considerable flash flood warning for Mecklenburg County, and it's specifically with that. So I think that the WIA alert did not go through. We should have actually gotten it here. So they are labeling this as a considerable flash flood warning, and we're actually expanding these warnings all across the area. So right now, I will say, again, the National Weather Service, I think, has upgraded this to a considerable flash flood warning. It's at that point that you should be alerted on your phone, just because of just how quickly the water is rising in some of those creeks. Because I'm going to use one example. Here at Arrowwood Road at the Sugar Creek, for instance, when did we start this? Pretty much around 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, it was at 10.18 feet. Now it's about 11.5. So it's risen 1.5 feet within that short period of time. So yeah, the National Weather Service, again, I think has upgraded the Mecklenburg County flash flood warning to a considerable flash flood warning still until 4:15, just because of what's happening and all that water flow and some of the urban flooding. Now, I am happy to say that the rainfall in general general has started to wind down a little bit as far as the coverage area, but you're still dealing with some heavier rain showers, persistent rain showers for another hour, which almost would kind of just put a cap on it. At least we're not allowing for heavier thunderstorms that are going to move in after this. But yeah, still a dangerous, life-threatening situation for certain spots of the area. And we also have a brand new flash flood warning. This is now indicated for Stanley County. So Stanley County now can't escape this. So Stanley County's, let's zoom into there. So this most recent one here in Stanley County officially goes... yeah, their flash flood warning until 2:15 p.m. So theirs isn't as late. I think the reason why that theirs is a little bit shorter is, one, they've received less rain than us. Two, they don't deal with as much as the runoff flooding and the populated areas. But as long as you still have the runoff and the local streams, that does make sense that they're going so long as far as York County is concerned, and then also for Mecklenburg County as well. So if you're just joining us, a considerable flash flood warning upgraded for Mecklenburg County and surrounded areas. We've been following James Brierton along the Little Sugar Creek Road, and I'm seeing it in multiple locations that it is much higher than it usually is, now approaching anywhere from action to even minor flood stage. A lot of these little areas, such as Little Sugar Creek at Hillside, is now moved into action stage, now officially into minor flood stage. That one is now up to 12.49 feet. When we started this stream, when I joined in at 10:45, it was at 10.5 feet. It's risen 2 feet. So the Little Sugar Creek Road at Hillside Avenue has now risen by 2 feet over the last, I would say, less than an hour, 45 minutes. So now up to minor flood stage. And each of these jurisdictions will kind of say what happens at that point. Really, once you hit the minor flood stage, you're expecting that many roads are going underwater, as we've seen there. Most of the greenways are impassable, and you're also starting to see a lot of lawns that are around there that aren't necessarily jurisdiction as within the flood plain, starting to see water come up a little bit closer to houses. So again, that's the reason why we have that flash flood warning for the time being. But everything's right around action to a minor flood stage. The highest levels that we have now seen really since September of 2024, and that's when Helene rolled through. So this really puts in perspective about how high the water is getting here. Isolated rain totals upwards to about 4 to 5 inches of rain. The most recent updates that I've been seeing here is seeing some totals about 4.86 inches of rain that was right here at Collinswood Elementary, and then many areas that were about 2 inches when I first started talking here around, I think it was
10:25.
Yeah, 10:25.
Yep.
So about an hour since then, I've now seen an additional inch of rain come in some isolated locations.
All right, we're going to keep this radar up. I know you're following the flash flood warning. I know James wants to show us something as well. We've got the 2 box up, James. What do you have?
So, Jane, this is exactly what Chris was just talking about. Water starting to approach homes here. And so this is spillover from the Little Sugar Creek, and we're starting to come up right against a home here. We've been talking in the past hour about how this lot was reclaimed in the past years by the government because it's in the floodplain. So no one can build here. But Brandywine and Westfield Drive are back over here completely underwater, and the water is now within, I would say, 6 feet of this home. You can see they do have a bit of a wall here, but there's a home across the street, too, that is starting to get water up onto their driveway as we begin to continue to see that spillover from Westfield Drive, James.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, that's definitely that pure example of that spillover from the back of people's houses. Thanks for that, James. And yeah, this is just getting more intense. The rain itself does not look like it's anything major, right? But just the duration and the low-lying areas, Chris, as you're continuing to follow Mecklenburg County.
Yeah, and duration is key. Duration and intensity. And this hasn't been just a light rain. You've been dealing with some really heavy rain here. I'm going to put this in a loop. What we've seen over the last couple of hours alone around here in Mecklenburg County, that's where we've been dealing with a lot of those yellows. So those oranges representing anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch per hour. And that's where we've been seeing most of these higher totals. For Charlotte in general, we're seeing some rain rates anywhere from about 1/4 to 1/2 inch inch per hour, but that was starting at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, we picked up a ½ inch, then another ½ inch, then a quarter inch, then a quarter inch, and then most recently about a third of an inch. And the airport has 2 inches. But again, some areas localized where James has been standing has now officially picked up about 4+ to even close to 5 inches of rain. That was a possibility today, but to see in so many locations get that, really just seeing the worst case scenario that's coming from this. Multiple flash flood warnings. Number one, we have one here in York County that goes until 4:45, seeing estimates of up to 4 inches of rain there. Luckily, the western half of the county is just seeing light to moderate rain. So with that, even with the active rain, that is going to allow for some of the drains to catch up. Whenever you have this intensity of rain, which is just absolutely astronomical, that's not going to be the case. So Rock Hill still going to see active rain rates that are well over a ½ inch per hour, and really increasing the flash flooding and the danger. We mentioned Mecklenburg County, the National Weather Service, just because I think of the urban flooding, the runoff, and what happens in this area. You saw how fast the water is moving. Did upgrade the flash flood warning to a considerable flash flood warning. Usually your phone is notified, but I'm not really getting notifications here at the station, nor did James recently. So it might be really just hyper local to certain low-lying areas, but still, this means that you should take this one a lot more seriously. We still have the dark greens and the yellows. That's still up to about a 1/10 to a quarter inch per hour. That's not going to really improve conditions whatsoever. So over the next hour or two, we're dealing with an active flood situation, still life-threatening if anyone's going to try to walk through these, especially, and even try to drive through it. I think a lot of people are going to be upset if they try to challenge these waters. We've seen a lot of flashing lights, hazards, and then even some water rescues, as we did just talk to fire management not too long ago in emergency management. Also, there's another flash flood warning. This one is specifically for Stanley County. This one expires at 2:15, and this area has alone seen a lot of their creeks start to expand some of their banks. Over the next 1 to 3 hours, several streams are going to significantly rise. And the thing what happens is, even after the heavier rain happens, then sometimes it can take an hour or two for some of these creeks and streams to hit their absolute crest. So this is some of the highest levels that we've seen so far in 2025, and some of the highest levels that I've seen since about September 2024, some of them even matching around Helene, to kind of put that in perspective.
Wow, that is pretty wild. James, it looks like you have an umbrella now, at least.
Hey!
Calvary. So thank you to photojournalist Pierre for bringing me an umbrella so we can stay a little bit drier as we continue to track the water out here, James.
All right, very good. I know Destiny Richards is in East Charlotte, and it looks like they finally towed that car out from North Tryon Street near 16th. Destiny, are you up? You got your ears on?
Yes, I do. Just trying to stay as dry as I can. So I wanted to show a little bit earlier. This is where the water is kind of fast flowing from. So on the side here on Ashby, you can just see that free flowing water. Obviously that's a no trespassing area, but you've just got a steady stream of water flowing from there, just running off into the street. But yeah, we do have people who are turning around on Ashby. It's a side road over here, not a main trafficked road, but it leads down here onto North Tryon. We're having people turn around on North Tryon here just north of Uptown. And then obviously we've got CMPD on the other side too. East 16th Street is on the other side. So this is really just not a place to come through at all. There is some drainage that we're seeing here on North Tryon, but it's further up here and we're not really seeing it so much down there. So this is definitely a pocket of water that has just been collecting, and with this constant water, it's definitely not helping at all. This truck is thankfully getting by from East 16th going south on North Tryon right now, so that's a good thing. But nobody can obviously come underneath this bridge at all.
Maybe that big rig could. We don't want to mess with that. Destiny, thank you very much for those live pictures. Wow. Stay safe out there, and hopefully you have like an extra pair of socks or shoes for a little bit later on. Oh, looks like that truck just made it through. All right.
I've got rain boots.
She got her rain boots. Very smart. Smart girl. All right. And that is our Destiny Richards. We are coming up on 11:30, James and Chris. So we are going to turn it over to WCNC Charlotte from the main studio right now. We are we not?
We're on till noon, babe.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carlene. Thank you. We're on till noon. My bad. So
we're all learning this in real time. We are on till noon. Hi, everybody.
My brain is flash flooding.
I also do have a new update.
What do you have, Chris?
Okay. All right. So I'm also getting.
I'm sorry, people are talking in your ear. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Well, because I think we're doing. We have our WCNC Plus, and we also have WCNC going on right now, right? Or what's our status right now? So.
Excellent question.
Well, actually, I do want to mention one thing. So here's the deal. I just saw the most recent update at the Little Sugar Creek.